What is up, y'all? It's your boy Aniki coming at you with another Church of MHA episode, season 3, episode 27. How have you been? Feels like it's been a while. Can't remember if we had a chapter last week or not, but I do know the next chapter is on a Monday. So let me know how y'all have been. You know, I love how to hear how my people been doing. Man, Jason Thomas first in. Welcome. For those of you who, hey, MK the baby. For those of you who have been here for a while, hey, Jalen Baxley, you already know we got a W. And by that, I mean, we got a Community movie coming. It's beautiful. 6 seasons and finally the movie. I did watch the anime. Great episode. They adapted chapters 258 through 260. So honestly, if we keep that adaptation rate going, we should be having the Hawks by Twice wrapped up, Hawks versus Twice wrapped up by the end of episode 3. You know, that's an insane clip. But like in a good way, not like insane bad, but like a lot of anime only is gonna be confused when it's episode 3 and they seeing somebody get murdered. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Let's see, we got Lamar Arrington, White Despair, Black Hope. Alves is in the building. Brandon De La Cruz, Tiger Blaster, Cameron Bailey, my mama. All right, Austin Morgan. How everybody doing? Now, let's see. Already read Undead Unluck. Yep. I like to sneak and read the chapters midstream while people are talking anyway. I read Yozakura Family right before this, so. Let's see. The Bird. I didn't think it was possible. Let's see, East in the chat. But they found a way. They really found a way. But yeah, it's gonna be popping, because if we get in Dobby versus Hawks by episode 4, there's a chance that we're on course to have the first core finale episode be Dobby's dance. I think that would be a lovely final episode of the first core. In fact, I'm about to go look at the chapter count real quick, you know, because this is fascinating to me, because they were like 3 chapter episodes. Because for a while, My Hero was starting off and would do like 2 chapters, 2 chapters, 2 chapters, 2 chapters, 3, and depending on how much action there was. But it looks like now they're like, nah, we're gonna give it to them. Well, let's see. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's see. So that'll be 266, 267, 268, 269. That's episode 4, episode 5, episode 6. It finishes on 275. Episode 7 finishes on 278. Episode 8 finishes on 281. Episode 9 finishes on 284. Episode 10 would be finishing on 287. Episode 11 finishing on 290. Episode 12 finishing on 293. Oh, and then episode 13 could finish on 296. Yeah. So assuming episode 13 finishes on 296, the end of the first core is gonna be, hear me, my tireless Nomu, it's time to free my real body. That might be the last episode of Core 1. And then 297 will roll around and we'll get the Tartarus breakout for episode 14. So if we keep this adaptation rate, that's what you can look forward to. So I kind of want them to do the 296 finish. And I actually do like the new OP. I've seen, you know, some people hate it, some people love it. Hold on. I don't know what you're talking about, but let's see what happens. Somebody said something. I ain't read the chapter yet. I'm a little worried you might have just spoiled me, buddy. Let me just get in here. Oh, okay. So because of the nature of the chapter, I will acknowledge this color page real quick for 2 reasons. 1, Hori's wilding. 2, I think it's hilarious that he drew Deku looking like a fuckboy and ain't nobody had nothing to say about it, because I saw this color page a couple days ago, because I was like, all right, what's so controversial about this? But he did back-to-back fan service sketches, one for the anime, one for this. and I'm only seeing one get hostility, and we got to work on that as a community. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Okay. Now, My Hero Academia, chapter 368, Rev Up One for All. All right. So let's see. It says the two have achieved a perfect melding, but perhaps it's because All for One has been alive longer that he's the one who's in charge. And then, all right, so we get the visual of them kind of melding together, and then you can see Shimura busting out of All for One's chest. I don't know what you're scheming, but you won't get your ideal pie in the sky ending here. You see All for One, and this is, All for One's mannerisms right here with the hand on the chest and everything. And we see that he's got the family in Kotaro. Yep. Nana Shimura seeing Kotaro, Izuku, he's still in there. And then let's see. Okay, we got him going Hulk smash looking that. Anyway. Oh, so he's going for just trying to break the stage in its entirety now. Okay. Eye in the sky, yep. Mm-hmm. Hey, it's all good. Yep. Oh, and I do like the new OP. So we good here. Yep. Sounds made so okay. There we go. Let's see, destroyed. And then know this, All for One. I won't let you have your ideal ending either. All right, looks like he's wrapping Black Whip around Shigaraki's big arm, or Melvin's big arm, All for One's big arm, whichever you want to call him. Ooh, I stored up Fajin's energy within the fifth Black Whip for a boosted binding combo. Got him totally wrapped up. Black Chain. Yeeting that boy. Enhancer not the same trick won't work twice. And then he's standing on the plank. You're done once you use this. Take him down within 5 minutes, or else this world loses this war. Let's see. He had visuals on him as he was standing on the wall. I'm ready to settle this. The seconds transmission. Let's see. Okay, a little bit of what we doing here, Deku? What we doing here? It looked like you got a little Jean Ken going on. Wait, let's see. We see the amalgamation standing on top. The thing is, it's like in the air. Okay. See a couple arms coming out of the back as he leaps up. Let's see what we got happening. Okay. Second gear. Boom. Ooh. Hit him with the smooth. Okay. See, it looked like he was jumping. Instead, he was getting his shit rocked. Second gear, third gear, and then boom, top gear. The sounds are delayed. What's he doing to me? So he's breaking the sound barrier with his fist. Got it. Where'd he go? This is nothing like that glowing energy from before. It's almost too fast. Almost as if, no, it's a different beast than it was back in my day, All for One. The meta ability that changes the target speed when touched. Gear shift. Overdrive. Ooh. And there we go. With a resounding roar, Bakugo dies. Overdrive. As Izuku Midoriya would put it, this is 120 out of 100%, brother. Let today be the day that we end this. Detroit's, okay, and then we get the Detroit Smash actually coming out, which means he tapped both his arms to up their speed while lowering Shigaraki's. That is actually a pretty wild ability, and this means he's gonna have to do that speed form that we talked about. He's gonna have to do that speed form that we talked about in order for him to survive this barrage. Hey, look, I tried to be nice. You know, I was always going to be courteous. And now we can finally say with absolutely certain, like absolute certainty, the theory is dead. All we got to do next is get rid of the damn dad for one. But, you know, we'll see how that goes. I'm not going to pretend like it's guaranteed to end or be struck down. I'm going to just tell you that we're hopefully building up towards that, and we'll get rid of that. So let me get my bishops in here. That's what I'm going to say to that. Let's see. Let me get these bishops up in this church. Now we just need to convert. Yep, Shiggy about to pull a freezer. That's what I'm telling y'all. This is Planet Namek, baby. We got the 5 minutes. He got 5 minutes to deal with this. So we might see a transformation within like a minute after this, the speed form existing, and then we'll see how that goes. And I'm kind of expecting that he'll get caught lacking because he won't be paying full attention. And we'll have, you know, maybe like that'll be when, like, because, you know, we got 5 minutes of Deku trying to whoop on all for one. And then he's probably going to be a bit burned out. This is just because I'm sure, look, I called it Yue Gashima, so let's compare this in One Piece terms. He's going to do this for 5 minutes, probably have to rest for a bit. So we might get, you know, a couple of, as we keep moving. Well, Shiggy got a black heart, but I don't know about that. But with these 5 minutes, after that, he's going to take a break. We'll probably we can either transfer from this battlefield, or we can have somebody else like tag in. And what I mean by somebody else is we might get like Bakugo back in, and since the fortress has been consistently moving, we could have, especially if we start to slide down and fall, we can have a couple of the students that are like down there, and it's like, all right, well, the system's going to be deactivated regardless, so get a couple people from class 1A up there, have a couple more people get injured, maybe lose an arm, leg, whatever, just like how Jiro lost an ear. And then that'll kind of get the ball rolling and have Deku have a reason to get back in there for the final round. I don't think this is going to be a 1-round battle. It wouldn't make sense for that to be the case. That's not what this is looking to be by any stretch of the imagination, if we're being honest. So from that perspective, I think we're in a pretty solid state to get a back and forth that, especially with All For One, going to have to arrive. So like a lot of people were like, how could All Might still die? How could All Might still die? And the answer is him popping up here, because I reread, let's see, from 297 up to a little after the Nagant fight, starting with Class 1A versus One For All recently. And looking at that, we got a decent bit of stuff going on here. And when I look at that, the way that that's like paced and structured, we could bring them into the fold a little, but mostly to be fodder. But the idea of all the Class 1A struggling to keep up with Deku, and by extension One For All, and then trying to, you know, match up to that. I will say that there was a small theory that I had in the back of my head that I didn't want to mention, because people always talk about what if Deku shared One For All with his classmates? Now, we technically got the mechanical framework to pull that off this chapter, which is what I thought we would be able to do, but I just never brought it up because I know that people hate theories like that. So with us having the ability to double stack other quirks, we now have room for infusion of the stockpile of the energy to into the smoke, and then having people breathe in the smoke to have them infused with some of the excess energy, allowing them to slightly overclock for a bit. There's that too. We can also just accelerate other people with transmission. So we have a couple moves and stuff that can go around. He can just increase their speed. We got a couple options here, so we're gonna see what happens. But there's routes set up within here without him actually having to give them one for all, but still being able to buff other people. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, because the whole point of the story is that the way All Might did it was wrong. So if we still have this resolved with a 1v1 conflict where nobody else really steps up or contributes, we're not really establishing that the collectivist mindset is the correct one to have. We're saying collectivism works sometimes, but at the end of the day, exceptionalism is still what it comes down to and matters. And that doesn't really seem to be the message that the story's been trying to convey. So, right, he's not giving them the quirks, just buffing them. In theory, he could amp Black Whip into a high-powered spear. It's totally justified. Don't compare that to Thor: Love and Thunder. Do not compare that to Thor: Love and Thunder, that garbage tier movie, hands down the worst MCU project I've laid my eyes and ears upon. Don't do that. Don't disrespect Hori. Don't disrespect no mangaka out here. I'll reread all of Black Clover before I give praise to before I respond to or accept, compare anything to Thor: Love and Thunder. Don't do that. Also, I'm realizing that my system acted kind of funny and must have jumped a page, because I was looking at this and I'm like, why didn't I get to see this Muriel page? And it must have been something that happened when I was rolling through the chapter. So I'm just going to read this over again. But East, I see you here. What's your thoughts, my brother? While I'm looking at this page that got skipped. Or Thomas, y'all both here. Hello?
Okay, finally. God damn.
Okay, I was like, man, what the?
Ain't no one entertaining that shit. It's done. I didn't even fucking realize that shit was fucking over and confirmed over. Mm-hmm. I didn't even see, it was so far that I wasn't even going for it that I even fucking realized that, oh, it really is completely 100% confirmed. Mm-hmm. That nigga not Bakugo. It been fuck, it's been that it was dead. The amount of lists you had to go to even do that. This couldn't even be a last arc. You have to have extensions and a arc after that just to squeeze in how the future shit would even work. Or else it'd be condensed to one fucking 2 chapters of him going back to the future. And then what would be the point of that? Mm-hmm. I didn't realize that shit was fucking old, but that's put to bed fully. Damn, that's crazy.
Can you guys hear me? Is my mic quality okay?
Yeah.
Yep, you're good.
Okay, good. Okay, that's good to know. My earphones are scuffed right now, so I just wanted to make sure.
All right, Thomas.
But yeah, hi.
You've been waiting. You've been waiting for Deputy to return.
I have been.
And so I gotta ask, is this a satisfying, true entrance for your boy?
Yes, absolutely. Because I feel like a lot of people are waiting for his I am here moment, which hasn't started yet. Mm-hmm. So it's good to see him return, because I've been missing him a lot. I also want to say the second quirk that we got is 100% worth waiting. I know a lot of people wanted a laser beam. I know a lot of people wanted a long range attack, but it always came across as generic, powers. This is at least interesting and unique in a way. And also, I love how on page 12, if you peep it, let me see if I can go to page 12. On the bottom right panel, it looks like Deku is changing gear, like a gearbox, which is really cute as a detail, which I love.
Hold up. You said page 12?
Mm-hmm. When he says transmission, and underneath that.
Oh yeah, because I was like, what is he? But now I see, like, if you look at it, he's got the little line that's kind of like if you are driving a manual car and you gotta do that. So yeah, he was applying that to his hands.
Oh God, Jason, that shit funny as hell.
Also, what I'm gonna say I like about this too is that you notice that he already has the black whip wrapped around the right arm. Like he's like, I'm being extra careful here as I be choked.
Exactly.
Ooh. I do want to see him bust out some St. Louis smashes though, and that's because I think I saw somebody be like, I think Deku should be going the kicking route, and I wasn't fully sure what they were talking about because I was like, well, he's been using all kinds of moves. A Detroit smash, and this kind of goes into why I was like, getting Class 1A involved, even if some people aren't going to like that as much, is kind of necessary because right now he's just fighting like All Might. He's leveled his head a bit, but he's still fighting like All Might. So we want to fix that, and we want the Deku style and him utilizing his teammates properly to come into play here. So in order to like actually get that progress narratively and complete that, moving beyond the image of All Might, and it's one of those things that I was talking about. Veronica coming through with the super chat. The second says you're done after you use this. I feel like this might have a huge backlash on Deku. It smells like a setup for a big failure. Bronx stomps and Compton smashes. All right, Tyler.
Y'all finna summer squiddy. All right, Brandon. So you know what? Brandon. So listen, we might as well talk about it now. The big failure and all that, this, that, and other. I hope you realize what happens. You can't really pop. It can't be a single one of you that can say open honestly with your chest and with full cognizance and believe that you have a full working processor brain. If you think this nigga not gonna get his quirks back, I don't care if you say this the end that could just gonna power up plus ultra and still win on some movie shit or whatever. If you think that, fine, but you can't sit here and truly think this nigga really just won this fight and Shigaraki not getting his quirks back. You cannot possibly believe, and I think every other single Battlefield getting off screen. If you truly believe in your heart of hearts those two things, you definitely smoking crack. And I will welcome you on here to fully articulate your ludicrous thoughts and how you believe. One, we all screen every single thing because y'all gonna be jumping the goalposts when this shit don't end in 4 chapters, and be like, all right, never mind. All right, now we go jump over here. Like, all right, and then think we gonna literally skip out everything else. Like this shit so smith. It was painful to me. It was getting on my nerves. Is the fact that this shit is so obvious. Like it's like, all right, bro, this is like, it's like how like if you tease, I don't know, either you seen somebody be teased or you tease somebody like this, where they trying to get something from your hand, and they got it in the hand, or you got it, and they're like, oh, where is it at? I don't got it. This, that, and it's like, all right, nigga, I know what you're doing. Like, you're not fooling me. Like, ooh, the Detroit smash, cool. He went down. Oh,
yeah.
Come on now, nigga. He don't got his quirks. He ain't even evolved yet. Like, really? Come on. Yeah, Balak, yeah, bro. People think this is like over. Some people think like we never gonna see any other Battlefield. They think the rest of them even off screen. The rest of them like, hey, but then when we get there, we don't end it. The end of this year, y'all gonna be moving the goalposts. All right, 2023. Never mind. I'm like, all right. But I was on Copia when I said it's not ending this year, and y'all did that. But okay.
Yo.
Hey, Bonzu.
Yo.
What you been thinking?
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah, hold on. Your Wi-Fi. I don't want you to waste your breath. Your Wi-Fi acting funny right now.
Tis bugging.
Honestly, if Deku can just transfer Fajin to Mirio, or like infuse some of that energy with him, that can go a long way with him being untouchable. Because he can just sit there, throw little punches, have Shigaraki mad, and then be like, "Cool, I built up a big one." Pop! So we got a lot of flexibility in who can help Deku out now that we're in this position. But I assume the tide of battle will turn. Yeah, no, like when Tenko gets full control of his body, if Tenko gets control of the body, he's going to be just like lashing out to an insane degree. I think it's worth noting too that if Deku can infuse Fajin with Black Whip, he may be able to infuse that energy with other people at this point. I'm specifically looking at the 6-user smoke being the tool for that, because at present, we have no reason for... Look, float made sense because it gave him the ability to hover above the ground so that Shiggy couldn't just decay the ground he was walking on, and that he wasn't stuck like trying to air hop to fly. That was a purely like just a mobility enhancement tool. Black Whip, designed for mobility enhancement and, you know, versatility for slingshotting, wrapping people up, stuff like that. Just a good all-arounder move. The Force Danger Sense, really just a way to help it evade, increase evasion skills, stuff like that. Fajin, a way to amp up and get around not being fully at 100%. And even transmission. But the skill that has the least amount of utilization right now is the smoke. So we got to have something happen here with the smoke to make it, or rather the application of it, to be at least on par with some of these other quirks.
Because I feel like Smokescreen has always been Hori's way to show a lot of appreciation towards Smoker, because that was like the one character that kind of put him on the map at the first place. So if Hori can find ways to make like smoke bombs or that long range attack that Smoker can do, like I feel like, yeah, there's no reason why not, because Smokescreen is probably the least, interesting quirk out of his arsenal. So it would be nice to give that a lot of, coverage and a lot of shine.
Okay. What we are talking about? I just came back. I didn't, and so what did I miss?
Thomas, you were up because I was about to say something else, so I forgot.
We were talking about, possible quirk combinations, whether Deku can pass on certain quirks to kind of boost people, or use transmission to, bring up people's speed, to, keep up with Shigaraki, because at this point, Shigaraki is speed blitzing everyone else there, even if he is a lot heavier.
Okay, transmission is the fact that when you touch, is a quirk when you touch someone, they change of speed. That was a quirker. Am I right? Or they just change the angle of speed? I'm not sure. So if you're touched by Izuku with the quick transmission, they change your speed. Does the target change your speed? Is it right?
Yeah, it increases your speed.
Increases speed, but at the moment, that's what I'm thinking about. Like, it might be just a detail because I kind of like physics a little bit, because when it was activated, Shigaraki stood still, or he was moving.
Wait, say that again?
Was he moving Shigaraki when he was activated? Because it feels like it is a quirk that you have to be moving to. that if you want it to be affected by it, you have to be you must have in speed. But it looked like he was just like sitting, he was just on the top when it was activated. Like
when he pulled up and hit him, it looks like he was starting to float away, but after he got that, because he did triple right hand blows, it looks like. So, and if you look at his back, he's got like black lining, but that could just be simple shadowing. It could be a little bit of black whip to keep him in place for the combo. I'm not 100% sure which one he's going for, but it looks like he basically was able to hit him like 3 times quick, because we even get him coughing up the blood and slowing him down so that he wouldn't escape as he was hitting him. So it kind of looks like what it also functions as is a bit of a speed transfer, kind of like Wally West being able to siphon other people's speed force. So I don't know how familiar my viewers or other people are with that kind of maneuver, but there was a speedster that Wally fought at one point, and he siphoned so much of his speed force that the guy was actually stuck in place for like eternity. Basically, he was going to be moving that slow that he wasn't going to be moving. Kind of comparable to like Gojo's Limitless, except it's motion in of itself instead of contact.
Okay. Yeah, because
also,
but I see he got to keep moving. My bad. I was just thinking about something else. So yeah. What do you want to say?
What I was gonna say was, I feel like from what we've seen, there is a limit. There is another drawback, is that it's just like a car, right? You can't go straight to top gear or like fourth gear without going through each gear, right? I don't drive cars, so I wouldn't know.
So when you drive a manual, it's ways you have to shift to, and you can't overheat, or you can't grind gears, so to speak, if you're shifting from second to third. If you don't shift properly, you can't grind your gears and fuck up. So same way he did Fajin, and he wasn't able to multi-process everything at once because he wasn't listening. He wasn't properly accessing the quirk. It would be the same thing with transmission. He would shift to a second gear, third gear. And like, let's say he could do it now, but let's say like what Chekhov said, if you do it after this thing, it cannot properly apply properly, so to speak. So let's say he uses transmission after the thing. He said, you're done after this. Say he uses it again after that, it could be essentially the same as grinding your gears, or he can stall out, which is what happened with manual cars. That we're applying the same thing, transmission.
That's good to know. Which makes this quirk even more cooler.
So, well, Aniki not here. I'll wait for that because I don't feel like rehashing because I'm tired. Really want to go home. We're going to go sleep, but we here. So anyway, all right, he back. So let's address a few things because I don't feel like harping on like negative shit. I'm already tired, so I got very limited energy. So we're gonna keep this a buck and quick. First things first. Arrest that nigga Hori. I'm gonna punch that nigga in his fucking for that color page. I'm also gonna punch that nigga in his fucking. I'm also gonna punch that nigga in his fucking throat. And it's not for the reasons you think. I don't give a fuck about a color page. This is nothing wild because guess what? No matter which way you want to spin it, because I know it's gonna spin it. Toga be naked since the fucking start of the series.
Yes.
I don't care for the color page. I don't, and I'm not defending shit. So you can suck my dick from the back, first of all. Second, I don't give a fuck about the color page, honestly. That shit just stupid. I kept it pushing. I didn't know why this somebody see a tweet with the scams just out. It said niggas having more conversation about the color page than the fucking the chapter with the leaks.
Exactly.
That's why I see a tweet. But I don't really give a fuck about color page. My thing is, I'm about to punch that thing in his fucking skull. Because why the fuck are you wasting a color page that we don't get but 3 times a year? Oh, Hakaguri, who not even here? What relevance does she have? We don't even know what battlefield she at. Is she not even a main starter of any single battlefield she is at? Why is she here? You could have did that anywhere else. Oh, you can't do color if it's not in the magazine? You jackass. And then you're going to drop fucking that fire-ass Deku art. And I was seeing niggas color that shit. I would lose my mind. I was like, yo, so you could have did this for the color page, seeing as Deku versus One for All. Yet, you over here drawing like you over here drawing Hakaguri for what? I have never seen anyone waste this much shit. Like this nigga really be wasting fucking time. Like, bro, you wasted this gas ass art and all these sketches on their bullshit. I'll smack the shit out of this nigga, bro. Oh my god. Yo, my fucking nerves. All that dumb shit, man. Get 3 color pages a year and you gonna waste it on a bitch that's not even in a chapter? And she naked? And you just got dirt and you got slander on your name for no reason? You did that to your damn self. Fuck she here for? Give us the vestiges, nigga. You know you ain't doing no volume cover with them niggas. So why the fuck is you playing around? Ooh, I can't stand that nigga sometimes. I'd better spend shit on that nigga. I couldn't be his editor. I couldn't. Imamura, you get that nigga too much freedom. I'll take back what I said. Yeah, that nonsense up in this bitch, boy. All right, that's venting for the color page, and that nigga I bust up beside his goddamn head. Let's move on to this. Some people are. It's a mixture about the second thing. I believe it was worth the hype that it was. All right, I believe it was worth the hype that it was. Now I know we all expect a projectile, fair enough, but based off what them niggas was doing back in the day, I could definitely see that Chekhov was just literally putting bullets or laser beams or some type of projectiles into his gauntlet and just shooting that shit out. Because once again, they not aiming to nerf you back in the day. They're not aiming to arrest you. Like Chekhov said, 100% confirmed on the panels. They were killing niggas. Every time you stepped into the streets or you stepped into the ring with somebody, it was you or them, and you died. It wasn't no like, get up, my friend, or like, now it's time. I put you away for good. No, yeah, I put you away for good in the ground, nigga. That's what the fuck it was back in the day. So since it's confirmed, like I see like it was obviously he was shooting projectiles in order to like kill people because he's boosting the speed of that shit, which makes sense. It's basically like a souped up laser beam gun, low key. But I know some people wanted a projectile, like a laser beam, like Kamehameha, because they need an offense. So this is sort of offensive, but it's like I said, it's a mixture. It's not like sometimes usually it's one hard stance, one or other, but some people just like, all right, it's just kind of an extra boost on, which I understand. I mean, me personally, I would have had to be more sort of a spirit gun because that nigga was tanking nukes. And yeah, he didn't do it head on, but nigga, you can't even survive the radiation from a nuke. The radiation after a nuke has dropped, let alone the impact from like miles and hundreds of miles away from that shit. So you in the direct vicinity of that bitch and you still kind of tank that shit and you regenerate entirely. Yeah, nigga gonna have to punch this nigga through his brain skull, or he gonna have to jump to this nigga like on some Dragon Fist, like Goku did for King Piccolo and Android 17, Super Android 17. Because yeah, nigga, if he survive a news like this, just a beatdown not gonna work when he get regen. That's not gonna work. Sorry.
Yeah, it looks like Deku's currently going with a stunning strategy, where it's like you can't breathe, and which basically puts Shigaraki into a state, and then if you're like in that state, it's harder to defend yourself properly, which means he'll be able to just bop, kick off his jaw or something.
Yeah, that's what he's gonna have to do. But that's what he get to do that now because Shiggy don't have regen. But when Shiggy gets his quirks and his actual power back, remember now, Shigaraki's only at half power. If you're a mutant off base and you already have like ability, like remember, Shigaraki shouldn't have. Remember, Shigaraki's jumping off cars. A regular motherfucker can't do that. You have to remember they're all mutants. They're all genetically enhanced, whether your quirk is a super quirk or not. And most likely, any one of these niggas can knock you out in one punch because they're already genetically enhanced through generation. So you either have a lane quirk or not. One of these niggas with a lane quirk can knock your ass out in one punch because they are basically superhuman already, or to an advanced humans. So like, Shiggy is already like, so like once again, like that's how you think in this anime too. You know, these guys are already built different. But once Shiggy is able to like surpass Deku when he get his shit back, because he only have 50% now, then it's gonna be real different. Because it's gonna be like, all right, I gotta do what I gotta do because ain't gonna be how I want to do this type beat. Even if you got a little backup, it's like, all right, bro, I was beating everybody else before. Now I can regen no matter what y'all throw at me. Before I was just tanking everything. But like, you know.
Well, that's another thing that I'm kind of curious about, because like ultimately, if he is kind of speed siphoning and being able to change his speed, there could be a point like if we get a convergence like let's say the fortress lands in Camino, since we've been kind of moving and going in that direction, and we know that like we were talking about like how the heat influences stuff or whatever, and we saw that Deku and where Shigaraki is in comparison to where All for One is actually isn't that far apart based on the maps that were released for the latest volume. Then if we can actually get that convergence, it might be that All for One Shiggy doesn't go down until all three of the origin trio are there to put some work on them. I'm fine with that because they each got their own, like we saw, Shoto go supersonic at least. We saw Bakugo actually succeed in blitzing Shigaraki. We're seeing them like kind of be able to keep up with what's going on here. And if it's three of them and they can kind of cover each other's backs a bit more, they are the Three Musketeers after all. So getting the three of them to actually tackle this together, and with the quirks that they have at their disposal, from like high firepower to Shoto being able to put up a little bit of defense here by being able to make the ice walls and stuff like that, we got some potential here for the ultimate team up to put this dude in the dirt. And they've been training together throughout for the past 4 months, and not through the past 4 months because Deku took that month alone, but they were training for 3-4 months at the Endeavor Agency. So we know that their teamwork has to be on point by now. Like you saw the way they handled Indian once they got off the car. It was like, I'm gonna save him, you do this, boom, 1, 2, 3, done. Like put that boy in the dirt in one chapter. So I'm not saying they would put Shigaraki in the dirt in one chapter. I'm just saying that they're gonna put that work if all three of them jump somebody. I can't think of it's like when back in the day when Deku was like, this team could possibly beat All Might. Now that team, with where their quirks seem to be now, that team could beat All Might. That's how I look at it.
Oh, White Despair. That nigga All for One is getting to the battlefield. I like to see any type of way of y'all logically saying how they stopped Prime All for One. When Hawks couldn't keep up with that nigga at all. Like they was having somebody guessed
transmission. The final quirk has been revealed. Hi guys.
What's up, Volt?
Hey.
What's up, Volt? Hey.
I was so gassed. I was so gassed reading that.
Oh, okay. Like a vehicle?
Yes, exactly. Just filled my car up, max tank. We're ready to go. 600 kilometers. I drive a Civic. Anyways, okay, so that wasn't what any of us were expecting. No. We were all expecting like Energy Blast or something similar to Bakugo's quirk. I know some people were hoping for a Soulmate quirk, but that's like it's something you better keep to yourself.
Something like regeneration.
Yeah, but no.
Oh, look who snuck in with the perfect profile.
No, but this is the quirk I think that really completed the set, and it's so much better than like Energy Blast or something or an explosion quirk alike or whatever, because this is something unique to Deku. Like I haven't really seen anybody else have this type of power, and like this and Black Warp are absolutely his most vital ones. I think followed right by Fajin. Danger Sense is a very truncated Spider Sense. Like you guys have to understand how OP Spider Sense is. That's why Horikoshi made his ESP, his extrasensory perception, simply people who wish Deku harm instead of everything all at once, because that obviously leads to some limitations. I think Deku needs that. And then you have Smokescreen, which like kind of feels like a throwaway, but whatever. No, I really enjoy.
Smokescreen is mad unique.
Yeah, and like the way he uses it though, I don't think it's necessarily injuring him, it just leaves him fatigued. And that's why he said you can't use it because you're not going to be in any shape to fight when you get there and he's going to kill you. Right?
Somebody said something like that before in the chat recently. That was like, it would be like Luffy's gears after he used second, how he'd be able to do a walk right after he finished that.
Mm-hmm. But it's not ending here. Like that, this fight is not ending here. Because we haven't seen the other fights. So he's gonna need a senzu bean or something to get him back in the game.
Tell that to the masses. A lot of people think the rest of this shit getting off screen. They said like only 2 or 3 more battlefields getting shown, everything else getting off screen. And they think the fight I really don't know how you possibly like really think that. Like really. But anyway. Yeah, Solo Me. You spitting Anime House 6 with gas, bro. Oh, that was like
I still ain't watched it. Don't spoil for me.
Oh my god, that was like a movie, bro. They did that. It was worth the fucking wait. That was some real nigga shit right there. That shit was fucking amazing.
Just don't spoil me. I want to see it for myself.
Yo, the fact that you saying don't spoil it shows how heated it is. Like
exactly.
Sorry, no spoilers for what? I missed that.
Anime House 6.
I had no idea what that was until my friend told me last night. It's like, nah, it's anime characters in reality series. I'm like, oh, that makes sense.
It's great. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. It's fun. I'm gonna put it like this. It's funny because they act like niggas. That's why it's funny to be honest.
No, bro. The episode where Yugi got Inuyasha and like 3 of the other ones, like he was like, "Come on, guys, it'll be fun." And he's like, we don't need to go play the Generation of Miracles, dog. That's what they do. They hoop. He said, "Come on, guys, let's go play a game."
Yami's not gonna come out this time, all right? Yami's not gonna turn up. Yu-Gi-Oh!
No, and then the one episode where they had Shinji's Adventures, because they was like, "Who's this dude in the anime house?" "Oh, I'm from Shinji's Adventures. It's a Netflix anime." And Yusuke was like, "Get out of the car! Get off the shotgun, you bastard!"
I ain't gonna say that because that shit was fun. That just know that shit is fucking funny. Vogue, I'm pretty sure you have a chuckle too. You have a couple of laughs watching that. That shit funny, bro. I don't care.
I bet it is.
Like, man, but back on topic. Which also, because I talked about the anime a bit when I started the stream. How y'all feel about episode 1?
Oh, yo, I'm so glad I came for that.
Oh,
I watched it yesterday. It was heat. It was some heat.
So let me say this.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Okay, so let me say this, right? Oh, wait, all right, you go. You guessed.
Yeah, okay. That was their best premiere probably since season 1. Right at the start of the show.
Agreed.
Easily, because the other non-filler premiere was That's the Spirit Chaco, and it was it's a decent episode, but it's a very quiet start.
There was actually a filler episode before that too called Heroes.
Yeah. Nobody talked about episode 0 of season 2.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the recap episode. Yeah, I'm talking about the real.
They should have done that every season in episode 0, not episode 1.
Yeah, just a little clip show, no actual new animation, just stitched together.
Honestly, it's really crazy.
I prefer from now on for them to do what they did this season. You do the recap in 3 minutes. 3 minutes. That's all you need. You don't need to go over the finer details. You don't need to say, "Oh, this happened, this person overcame the personal growth." That's secondary. Condense the primary points, and then we can move on. That's all you need to do.
Because it's bro, everybody is anime is not special when it comes to it takes a couple months for the next season to come out. Nigga, that's everything when it comes to media, visual media. Yes, nigga, you gotta wait sometime for the next movie, sometime for the next season. Okay, nigga, you only a full episode to do that, make it a 0, like you said. And if you 6 seasons in, and
I'm about to say that, yo.
And you really can't remember Kirishima name, you need to be damn ashamed of yourself. At least cheat and say Harden, nigga. But 6 seasons and you can't remember a nigga name or what a nigga can do at the very least, yeah, bro, you really don't give a damn. Or you can't remember what happened. Like,
6 seasons in, bro. Like, that's a milestone. We got 6 seasons of this anime.
we should not begin.
It's crazy.
It really
Yeah.
You should fuck up my head.
And like the way the episode was laid out, pacing, I'm not worried about pacing this arc. I think they're gonna the episode list leaked last night, and I can just
link to that.
Don't even say what episode 3 title name is, because I already know that's where it all go down.
I'm trying to see the leak.
I can send it to you.
I want to see if my thought process on this was correct or not.
Yeah. Oh no, that my goat is dying in episode 3. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts, because I already seen that next episode already titled Miracle, and he's seen Kaminari in the trailer.
No,
so
that makes sense. That makes sense.
So they're gonna bust in the mansion by the end of episode 2, because the Miracle shit is not that long. It's all action.
Okay. I sent the tweet in the Twitter chat. So if you want to,
all right, I got you.
Bet.
So by the time episode 3 roll around, that shit's about to be. Can we
talk about how that opening? We finally got a gas opening.
Oh
again.
My god, bro!
It was gorgeous,
bro. See,
finally we got some heat. Yo, I low key, I think they trying to compete with other anime now. I think they finally stepped their shit up. Like, nah, we need to. Like,
they realized they realized too much heat was coming out. I was like, all right, bro, we can't just get lazy. And they ain't gonna just because it's MHA don't mean gonna keep carrying it off.
So it ends where I thought it would be. I
was right.
Yeah.
So what I said, they're keeping a 3 chapter per episode clip for the first core. Cool.
And it works because PLW is a really fast arc. Like, it's
all action.
Yeah, it's almost all action. The only like slower part is the aftermath, which is
fine. That's going to be the start of the second core. It's going to feel like rebuilding. And that was what I said as I was looking at it, and I was like, well, if we're doing it as a 3 chapter per episode clip, episode 13, that leaves us at literally the final scene of that episode being "Heed me, my tireless no move. It's time to go break out my real body."
Yeah.
Perfect ending to a 13 episode run. So, and even though we're doing consecutive core, if they took a 3-week break after that, do you know how? Man, I almost wish they would take at least a 1-2 week break in between the two, just because of that.
Yeah, and people rag on the show, but I think the sheer fact that you get more content in 1 week than you are ever going to get in the manga, it makes the story flow better, because you get more of the context, you get more at once, and like you get more of an idea of where things are going. Whereas in the manga, I feel like a lot of people are very stubborn about like certain things that they see in a week, and they think it means more than it does. And then it changes the week after, and it's like you shouldn't have held on too fast to that. If you get more of that at once, you're going to see less of that. So, yeah.
All right, hold on. Dekush came through with the super chat that said Bones going off with Mob and MHA. You are correct.
Spitting.
I cannot wait for Mob season 3. I'm excited as hell. And then Nader Moad came through. I'm gonna keep it a buck. The whole 5-minute part of the quirk feels so artificial that I can't feel any tension. Maybe the drawback could have been written or presented in a different way. I think this just comes down to the fact that I don't want to call it Big 3 SD, because this is really an issue that predates that.
Dragon Ball.
Like, yeah.
What is that 5-minute limit though? Like,
I assume it's fatigue. I assume it's fatigue, because that's got to take a lot of energy, slowing a target and then speeding yourself up.
If that's the case and it is fatigue, then Deku kind of stupid for opening up with that. I ain't gonna lie.
But he was trying to finish.
No. So, he has to finish this immediately, because Shigaraki has no quirks. Like, it's not like he's the one actually fighting. He wants to finish this immediately. He doesn't want this to drag out. So like,
it's like I get why he did it, but he is playing a very dangerous game doing it. That's all.
I mean, I don't think it's as stupid as you think, because if anything, if he had waited, it'd be more so, well, why the fuck did you wait? Because like this, you already late to the party. 10 minutes late. 10 minutes late. Niggas already fucked up because of your ass. Monoma cannot blink. If I pulled in, I'm coming off 100% too. I'm like, all right, bro, I don't give a fuck. I'm
Nah, nah,
cautious to the win because I
my
got
thing is, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm gonna keep it a buck. It seemed like they was exchanging blows before he even used this shit. Like when he had 5 gen, he was keeping up with my son. Like he wasn't outmatched like that before he used this quirk.
Yeah, he used transmission and caught that nigga off guard, as per usual.
Hey,
Anime tactic.
yo.
You? Oh, but
So-
Nader,
So- Because we talked about the anime, I do want to address this real quick. If we keep that same like 3-chapter clip for Core 2 as well, this season might actually end off on a hard cliffhanger.
With you talking about Cassie?
It might actually end off on Cassie and Shigaraki pulling up on each other.
That's a crazy ass. If you were to end that shit on who am I exactly? Because the way that nigga pulled up, still to this day, gas before it revealed we still got the Melvin bullshit going on. But initially, like that pull up still gas, like, oh, they gassing on Shigaraki, and then like the hand right there. And it's like, oh, so you the one they call off one? It's like,
that's exactly where I thought it was gonna end. That's exactly where I've been thinking.
Same.
It's crazy how anime onlys are really gonna fuck with All For One taking over Shiggy body. I see it now. They're gonna fuck with that. You know what I'm saying? Because when All For One got locked up, everybody was saying, "What type of villain get locked up?" and now he going and now he gonna get freed, and then everybody gonna be fucking with him again. Listen, the anime onlys are gonna like him. I see it now. They're gonna like him more than the manga readers.
They ain't gonna have as much to deal with as us though, because like they're gonna have to deal with it in like two seasons. They're gonna have a season and a half, and it's basically gonna be finished for them. Meanwhile, for us, we've been struggling with this bullshit and trying to see Shigaraki back on top for years at this point. So it's like
the thing about it though is that like the anime onlys don't even really like people fuck with Shigaraki now, but they don't really fuck with Shigaraki. Like
but he gonna get his clout when he pop off, because a lot of people that even like a lot of people even now say the greatest Shigaraki for them is still the PLW before the Shig for One Bestest bullshit start happening.
Nah, that is peak Shigaraki though.
So it's like at that, so it's gonna be like, all right, they're gonna be like, well, we just got him to the top, and then he was kind of hold again. So it's gonna be like, but I guess like when he fall at that time, I guess you're right, they will start fucking off.
I just see it now. They're not gonna be as mad as we were about Shigaraki.
In general, they're not as mad because it's a more casual crowd. They just, which is,
one, there is that vote, but two, this partially goes down to how they executed the anime. And this is actually probably going to work in anime only's favor. The fact that they flopped the order means that on an anime binge or in general, your Shigaraki glory days are going to last like 20 episodes tops.
Yeah.
And that's going to heavily skew how you perceive things, because when we found out Shigaraki was going into surgery and all that other stuff, we had EA in between that. So it was like we had, like 4 months of like, man, I wonder what Shigaraki's doing. And then the war started. Then it was like, oh, that's what Shigaraki's doing. And then we got into the war and it was like, damn, Shigaraki going brazy. Oh, and all that happens over, like we talked about, like a course of a year. Even though I think it goes NBA, EA, we get a little bit of extra stuff here. Also, I slightly miscounted. If they add 2 chapters to their clip, we can actually get all of the Star and Stripe fight. So if we do that, the end of the season is basically going to be, we're going to take down Shigaraki and All For One with the 3 boys in the shop.
Either one is good for me.
So we might get another, which I'm fine with this, because even though it chopped up the Endeavor Agency adaptation a little bit, season 4 was probably still the best finale.
Oh, absolutely.
You're right.
I keep saying it. Season 4 is actually the best season they've done. I'd say that right now.
That finale was like, because I remember being like, because I would just like randomly like wake up. It'd be like 6 a.m. and I'm like, I don't know why I'm awake, but screw it, I'm gonna watch some My Hero this morning.
And actually, you know what I'm saying? Get the testosterone started early.
Like wake up, watch some My Hero. So it was like I was getting that finale, and it was like wake up at like 7 a.m. Time to watch My Hero, smoke, go back to sleep, because I think I was already working second shift by the time that season 4 finale came out. And then get up, go to work, and be like, yeah, that was a great start to the day.
Yo, Volk, low key, like you might be spitting because honestly, to me, season 4 is the most rewatchable. Like season
It's
4, that's
it's
where you
got the
could
best
just pick a
content.
random episode and watch it because the episodes are really like bit by bit. Like you got Sun Eater versus those three guys, Kirishima versus Rapper. Like you could literally just pick any episode of season 4 and it's heat. Like you got the culture festival.
It's the best. It's the
Remedial
best.
course too.
It's
Yeah,
the best
remedial
stretch of
course.
content
Like,
outside of the season 6 content. Of course, I think this season already from where we're starting and the way they have been preparing for this arc ever since it debuted in the manga, like you can tell from interviews, like everything in season 5 and all that training they did for their animators to get used to live techniques, it was all for season 6. This is the one they were banking on.
Yep.
So
this will be the best because like I said, like I was talking to somebody and people were like, "No, My Hero isn't gonna bang," and I was like, "No, this season is gonna be banging."
this is make or break.
It already trended already. I think it'll be fine.
Listen, this season, any casual who was not taking My Hero as seriously as they should have, this is literally the make or break season. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, I don't know how you can watch about 6 seasons or something.
you want to know why season 5 like it did the things it did. It was because they always treated it as the bridge season, right? They treated it as setup immediately, right from the start. So I think season 5 has a lot of issues, but I think once you watch it all the way through, and I think manga fans as well are a little, I get it, a little too attached to the way the manga tells the story. Because I definitely think the manga does it better, but I think as well when you head into the show with the belief, oh man, how are Bones going to do this again, like how I experienced it in the manga? That's not fair.
See,
You can't do that.
This is so let me speak up then about this one, right? So, nigga. No. Stop playing.
What?
Nah, let me stop playing. I'm sorry. No, all jokes
Okay.
Just for real though. So in this indicates, so when this comes right, I've always said this, right? I've always said for the longest time ever since MV, I say, you know what? I really don't care about the anime because they're never really gonna visually match up to the shit that hardcore shit can do and the way it makes me feel. It's something about when this nigga just draws shit or writes stuff. I feel something in my soul, like every time, like that sketch he did for Deku, or that sketch with Nagant and like the ordinary girl, like
that's the reason. That's the reason they have so much trouble. It's such a hard style to adapt because it's so detailed.
Exactly. So I just like, bro, that's why I'm like, use the medium to your advantage in ways that you can over the. This is why I would never ever. I don't care how much fucking better Fullmetal Alchemist is in the manga. The reason I will only ever watch Brotherhood is because some of the fucking moments that they encapsulate everything and that they use everything they have to the medium to fire off on all cylinders at certain points, especially in the last arc when things were coming together and they had plans that trapped for Flora Bradley and all those niggas, and it was like, oh, who's this? And the music starts rolling and you have the fucking credits on the screen and things all start colliding and pieces start coming together as you crescendo into this final finale that can't be recreated within a manga sense, especially you're reading weekly or binging. But the music, the voice acting, the emotions all crescendoing, the visuals, everything, the spectacle that you can use that you have over the stale medium is just like use that to your advantage. Like same way that this one, that's why I like talking about the opening, which is one of the most best openings they have had ever since. There's only a small like 10 seconds that was like, I little mid or whatever. That was when Deku was jumping around rivet style. I like you could have did some more creative, but I ain't gonna hold you. The rest of that shit was fucking peak. When I say it was stylized to T perfection and the most creativity, that's what I'm talking about. That's why when you say spoilers and openness, that shit don't mean nothing. You know what they spoil? A lot of fucking shit. Dobby's dance. They spoiled the fly with Ray when Dobby put his hand on the thing.
Yo, they did not give a fuck.
They spoiled fucking. I will give my trade my happiness for my soul for the league's happiness. And the Hawks put up on that nigga twice. They spoiled so much shit, but it does. You know, it don't matter because you're as an anime only, they have no expectations, they have no fucking context and none of that stuff.
Exactly.
That's why I always say, oh, this is gonna be a sport, this is a sport. And it's like that's a lot more majority of the time, that's just a lazy excuse of like you can get creative and work around that shit. Who the fuck is supposed to know why Ultra will turn around and see the fucking thing? You think they're gonna be like, that's obviously the handkerchief that Twice gave her, and that's die, and that's the simplest. No, and anime only not gonna peep that.
It's like the super hardcore.
Like that, yeah, and anime only not gonna peep that. And even if they do, it's gonna be somewhere in the middle of the fucking thing. And we already know these characters are going to clash because it already shows Shigaraki being free. So Shigaraki and Deku could have, had a little something. I ain't gonna go off on that. I'm just saying, once again, they're proving if you think and not just be like throw your hands on the sky and get lazy, if you actually think and put effort towards something, you can accomplish this, which is what they just did here with this opening, which everybody agrees visually. I know some people are like the song to me don't really capture the full.
Nah, the song
is key.
I'm
gonna be honest with you.
I don't think the song
real quick. I stand by the opening for Core 2 of season 5 should have been the opening for this season.
Merry-Go-Round, I agree.
Like,
I don't mind the current one because it's
I don't mind it because like I like the visuals on this more
and
stuff, and that song doesn't necessarily pair with this like these visuals. But imagine every episode of the first Core, whoa, it's all right, everything will be all right. And it's just getting progressively worse per episode. Like there's something about that for me personally that would just be like peak.
So let me speak back.
They're definitely gonna do Deku Black season 2. I saw that yellow cape in the opening.
Yep. You saw great.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Nigga, nobody finna fucking know. Oh, this is when Deku goes rogue. When like, okay, maybe 1 or 2, 3 people that got spoiled out of what, thousands, damn near millions, almost a million, nigga. Ain't nobody gonna be like, come on now, bro. Please.
Yo, East Anarchy. I saw that shot of Gran Torino on top of the city, yo.
Bro, that shit was so good. Nigga, I was like, bro, why is this shit so fucking raw?
That is really the OG.
I remember
Alan, this is what I'm saying. I don't think this is the thing about it. The song isn't even bad, all right? Don't suck. It's just for me personally. It didn't truly capture, but it's not like a thinking like, oh, but if it had this, like, nah, open all together. The visuals, peak, the opening song just cool. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's the greatest one so far. I'm just saying, like, it's cool. You know what I'm saying?
And I agree with Spectral Dynamite. Odd Future is still, to me, the best opening they've done.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Like, Odd Future is the perfect culmination of everything. Like, this one has the best visuals, hands down, other than like that Deku jumping around river stab. It's kind of like, okay, but like other than that, it was like, and the thing was he wasn't even jumping around dodging river stab like that. That wasn't until Shotsu and them niggas got there. Before then, he wasn't even doing. That's why I was like,
nah. You know what they might add though? Since they did that in the opening, they might add some extra finesse to Deku Rage because he just jumped in front of him in the manga. In the manga, he was just there.
You know what they could also? You know what?
He had river stab in his mouth. He bit that shit. He was tweaking out like.
I saw a tweet that compared the opening song to like those old school like 2000s shonen openings that were like really fast paced and upbeat, like boom 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 boom. And I really get that sense. Like I get the sense it's a bit of an old school OP, and I love the visuals. It's probably the best visuals since in the whole series. I think Star Maker visuals,
absolutely,
Odd Future are about on the same level. Sora no Itaibe is really good. Because last season's visuals were very like
okay at best,
very conservative. They were like
very stiff,
very clip show. This was like much more inventive, and I saw some people say like, "Oh, well, why does the anime look like this all the time?" Do you want to be waiting until you're 50?
No, for real, because it's like. All right, bro. I will say the way it was, the art that was done, the style. If I had to say this would be if something was like this was created specifically for me, the opening visuals literally was like if almost of like somebody took the shit out of my brain that I wanted to see on the visuals and put it on somewhere. This is literally peak style right here. But it's like, I ain't gonna go overboard, but like, well, every scene should be done like this. They should have did the manga. They should have did anybody this. Like, all right, I ain't going that far now, nigga. I know that's some wild ass shit. That's a lot of work to be put in. All right, let's not go overboard.
So
we got a super chat.
Super chat.
Oh. Joseph Shola coming around. Now it's our round. Would hit 50 times much harder if it was the OP for the current holders of One for All and All for One battling. Yeah, I'm not gonna hold you on that one. That's true.
That's that kind of heat. Yo, Aniki, how did you feel about Endeavor pulling up on Ujiko?
I thought they did it fine. I think that a lot of people might not like the fact that we didn't get as intense of a pause on it, but it was a sequence that it was in motion. Like you gotta understand the difference between the ending of a manga chapter and the incorporation into an episode.
Thank you, Aniki.
People complained that the reactions were too much when I was reading it. They said, "Oh, well, why did he draw the reactions like that?" And then they sort of scale back in the show, and it's like right back where you started.
Wait, hold up. Low key, like this is actually like a milestone. Didn't you start streaming during POW?
I started streaming during NBA, but the church started. Or no, actually, yeah, I started streaming during POW because I started my channel during NBA.
Videos. Yeah, you did YouTube videos for NBA, but POW was like, because I remember that 259 stream where you were like, yo, they pulled up like on Ujiko kind of rough. Like, your Nomu beat Endeavor's ass on TV, fucked up Aizawa and Mike's friend. The police brutality squad pulling up on him.
The cut down, and that's that of all that you say that, whoever said that shit kind of stupid. Because it's like, hey, bro, you realize, and Aniki said it's just like, nigga, that's the cliffhanger for a manga chapter. It's a fucking big, intense pause. Why the fuck would you pause? You want them niggas to be on the screen 5 seconds after he just said, "You're the fucking demon lord's right hand minion," and they're gonna pause right there, and he'll be like, "Ah."
Yeah. Nah, they really emphasized Ujiko turning old in the anime though. I like that better. Anime.
You started watching him prune up. It was nice. And I'm gonna be real and say that, like, I think a lot of times when people like freak out about stuff, it's because they've put no actual thought into how it would be adapted, like in an anime setting, and instead of just been like slapping colors on it and then staring at that in their head, like, yeah, this is how it's gonna look. And no thought into like, but this is gonna have to be emotion. This is gonna have to, which I'm sure Volk is like, yes, as a person who's done lots of film study, this is very much, because like the same thing kind of applies to how people look at it, like when a book gets adapted into a film and it's not exactly like, and don't get me wrong, a lot of book adaptations, but a lot of the times it's like there's certain stuff that it's like that's not worth being mad about. Now you can be mad about Love and Thunder's adaptation of Gore because it's such a waste. It's such a waste. That's the comic book fans have every right to be irritated about anything involving Thor.
I was in shock. I was in shock watching that movie.
I didn't watch that movie for a reason.
Like after all,
like 3 times.
Like look, even if you're not a big fan of Ragnarok, you have to acknowledge like a lot of love and care did go into that movie. Love and Thunder, that's
trash.
Gone. Like Taika didn't really seem to care. It just seemed like his next paycheck to carry him over to his next project. Because I know he was trying to do Akira. He wanted to do Akira and that fell through. And then Love and Thunder lined up and was like, all right. So I guess
real with you. I don't even feel like there was a lot of love in Thor 3. I feel like people hadn't fully caught on to what Taika was doing, and it was easier for them to see it in Thor 4 because they're basically the same style of movie.
It is the same style.
I will say the visuals are better, but I think that has more to do with like the amount of movies they were churning out at the time and the SFX. But
I think Ragnarok still has some restraint. And Ragnarok for me works specifically because it is such a tone shift from Thor 1 and 2, but it's a difference that works. he's trying to do the same trick again on top of Marvel having a diminishing quality on a technical level. Like their visual effects artists are really overworked. There's less time to polish scripts. They're doing like 10, 15 things a year now.
They're doing drive-by shootings with MCU content.
It's nuts. It's just not sustainable.
Also, you want to hear my really scalding hot take?
Go
ahead.
My favorite Phase 4 project so far, because I haven't gotten around to watching the shows yet, has been Eternals.
I was about to say, do not say She-Hulk, bro. But
that's the hot take in the community
Eternals,
for a good reason.
The crazy part, because because Tarnis told me Eternals one of his favorite movies from all the phases, and I was like, that's kind of wild, bro.
Eternals was alright. Like
Eternals made me like I appreciate Eternals thinking about it more because like compared to some of these other things they've been putting out, Eternals has an actual.
It has an actual plot. It's invested in the heart of its film.
Agreed, sir.
It doesn't go out of its way to undermine itself at every turn.
I love the humor in that movie. It's like it's the right tone.
Like the jokes timings come in the right places. Like when Icarus breaks Phastos' table, it's like, no, that was actually funny. Like, and they did a good job, and I will say they did a good job of utilizing Brandon Tyree, because if you don't know about Paperboy, which you've been watching, but
let those niggas know, blue blood, yeah.
Man, everybody needs what was it called? A white avatar. Dog.
You need hey bro, you don't got a YWA.
Yeah,
doing with your life,
white
son?
young avatar.
The effects in Eternals are arguably, along with Shang-Chi, the best in Phase 4.
Bro, I don't give a fuck who got what to say. Shang-Chi. How do you say it?
Shang-Chi, yeah.
Shang-Chi. That shit was gas. I feel like I'm watching an anime origin movie.
It was like a old school Chinese martial arts film.
Yeah, no, don't say that.
Oh, why?
Because I've watched enough kung fu movies where I was disappointed that it wasn't kung fu movie enough.
Yeah, I agree.
Well,
it felt like
there's
they
an
wanted
element
to,
of
but they were
fantasy.
too scared to lean like further into that, because that's not what people watch the MCU for.
Yeah. There's an element of fantasy to it, I think but yeah. But anyway, where were we?
let me address this since we hopping back in the MHA. Let me let my YWA talk. So keep it back. Go back to Nadir. I'm not like saying you have a point, right? But at the same time, I don't agree with you about if to revamp everybody, refresh up. I remember what Nadir said during his super chat. Appreciate that again. I'm gonna keep it a buck. The whole 5 minutes part of the quirk feels so artificial that I can't feel any tension. Maybe the drawback have it written better or presented in a different way. I can't agree with you there because the drawback hasn't been set yet. We just know there's kind of a limit, which we already knew what was there beforehand. Don't use the shit or you're gonna fuck yourself up because you're not kind of ready. It's a last resort type shit. So he got here, he kind of using it as last resort because he's already fucking enraged. He's like, I'm about to cut this shit dead it now. Like, I'm not playing around, I'm not gonna wait for you. Like, you gotta remember, in his mind, he already knows there's no time to be wasting because I have to go all out from the jump. He's being a nerf right now. This is the only reason we have to wait that we can really beat him. So I'm not gonna come in here and just wait until like, oh my god, now he's too powerful. Now I need to use the move. No, I'm gonna come in here, everything I got, and embody this nigga in him. I'm not gonna be pussyfooting around. I'm already taking a detour, getting here 10 minutes later, and everybody else, I have no more backup, basically. Because they have to get everybody else off the field. They can't really do nothing because you got crippled people on the field. Those niggas need to go because you see what Deku and Shigaraki are doing right now. Nobody else is out there. They shaking a whole entire battlefield, destroying the bitch left and right. So they need to get all those other people that's injured off the field. So him coming in, doing what he need to do right now is okay. The fight is not over. He's going to keep using that shit again. Then when the drawback comes, it's going to be at a very pivotal point, and that's when the tables start to turn. Whether that's when Region is back or he just got to do for him, whatever have you. The reason he said what he said first is because when it comes back into play later, I'm like, okay, now we've seen 2 times that Deku wasn't ready to use it. He already used it once, so we already know what's going to happen when he tries to use it again or after he uses it. So the full effect or drawback has not been actually written out yet. You know it's coming, but it has not been like presented yet. It's like, oh, it's a drawback, or we just know it's a regular limit like everything else. And they haven't pulled the quirk box out for it yet. Like he did Fajin last time, but it was like, all right, then the quirk box came in the next chapter, fully detailing what Fajin was.
We needed a quirk box for Fajin.
Yeah, so like
this one too though.
Yeah, but
this is a quirk that needs a box.
Yeah, like
you want to know what the limit is? It's Dragon Ball. It's whatever Horikoshi says the limit is.
Listen, I think he thinks he's some type of comedian doing that 5-minute thing after he had Deku take forever to get here on his Goku shit already. Then you're gonna throw in the 5-minute little Easter egg on top of that, man.
Exactly.
Do y'all want to know the funniest part about this chapter though? Like all jokes aside, the funniest part is that as the beginning, where Melvin is like, Tomura Shigaraki is no more, and then bro, you have a whole fist of his family members. What are you talking about,
bro? Nigga just.
What do you mean?
But nigga just talk about something. I don't even know. This is Megamuru. That's all I know. I don't know what
nigga said nobody of that name exists anymore. Like, bro, who are you fooling?
Like who? Nigga, and then nigga, why he's still talking, and then nigga coming out his chest.
We even saw, you know, like when they were rushing in to save Bakugo, Tenko rising up and that being what was fueling Shigaraki's rage. So I feel like All For One is a little more lost than he thinks he is.
I'm also going to say that All For One hasn't realized yet that if he loses Shigaraki and that hatred, he's not going to be able to steal One For All per his own words.
Mm-hmm. Bro,
even on the pages, like you see as he's talking shit, like All For One is the one in charge, and you see Tenko and Tomura busting out his stomach, like
that's why I was laughing. See, like Alva said, nobody by that name is whole. It's like, nigga, it almost reminded me of that one scene from Scott Pilgrim. It's like, hey, it's full of, hey, is Scott here? It's like, that nigga Scott jumps through the fucking window in the back.
Yo, bro.
And we're like, no, he's not here right now. It's just like, nigga.
I feel like another thing is though, how do I put this? Like, okay, so All For One, like this makes sense though. All For One is just it has been stated he does not understand emotions. Like he doesn't understand people. Like he can't. Like he can understand their behavior patterns and he anticipates that. He can't understand them on a deeper level. And it's why like he's so focused on like the negative aspects to Tenko Tomura and absorbing that he doesn't factor in that he's like that not everybody's like him where they're all soulless and empty and evil. There's still another half of Tenko in there that he didn't account for because he was so focused on taking his hatred to steal One For All. He didn't absorb that he needed the whole thing, right? Mm-hmm. He needed all of him. He needed all of his good aspects and bad aspects to have the proper willpower.
See, this is the thing with Nutsack Face, right? The nigga only understands, he's so good and just understands about rage, fear, despair. Rage and fear mainly, and anger. He knows how to manipulate the most volatile emotions easily. But when it comes to like hope and heart and shit like that, he never goes for the brighter side. He always goes like, let me creep in the human consciousness, like the deeper and darker aspect. That's why he's always talking about morality and what's evil here is not evil over there, and like different laws, and like whoever's in charge that has the most power govern what's morality, what's right, what's wrong, or how is that governed. That's why he's always talking like that, because it's like this nigga's on like a different plane of like seeing shit and the certainty, because he always sees himself as above everybody else. But he understands anger and rage and like how to manipulate and cast over fear.
And that's reflected in how he goes after quirks. Like he doesn't go after complicated quirks because All For One is actually really effing lazy. He's a lazy bastard. Like he spends most of the series sitting on his ass and just like lost in his own head, like about all his Demon King role playing or whatever. And he's like,
"Wait, man."
And things will get him. Like, okay, so like let's take the battle with Star. He could have gone with Shigaraki himself, right? And he would have been able to steal that quirk if it was both of them at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But no, he stays in his effing cave because he thinks I need to save himself for
He's
one
passive, bro.
He's
That's
so
what I'm saying.
focused.
Like one thing about like post PLW MHA that like it rubs me the wrong way, but I understand it. If it was actually Shigaraki in control, he would not have done a majority of the things that happened. Like Shigaraki wouldn't send an assassin after Deku. He would go after Deku.
Now,
you know what I mean?
Like, because I understand it, because it's like, if this was Shiggy, he would have rolled out, and that nigga Deku would have been dead.
Especially because he has certs, he would have just went to go find Deku himself. But all for one, he's like, I'm gonna send assassins after you to weaken you. I'm gonna set you up at the mansion and fuck with your mental a little bit. And Shigaraki would have been at the mansion chilling, like, well, what's good, nigga? Like,
All for One's the perfect example of a backseat driver.
God, it's like, hold on. Somebody said something up in the chat earlier. I want to read it for them because they would. Yeah, I can't believe you done this. All for One ranging from corny as heck to genius will never not be funny. I swear that it could go from genius to corny, and it's like who the fuck says pie in the sky?
That's kind of who he is, though, because like basically he's an internet fanboy that you would find like being a super hardcore stan, like being toxic and talking trash. Like moments of genius, but predominantly stupid because
is the ultimate
why are you doing this?
Listen.
Of Saturday morning cartoon villain and ultra geek.
You're right.
I wanted.
Hold on. Before you go, pause. I just want to say this: if I'm fighting a nigga and we got superpowers, we fighting in the sky for the fate of the world, and this goofy ass nigga telling me, you're not gonna have your pie in the sky happy ending. I'm gonna shoot that nigga in his goddamn head. Have you lost your mind? You got the face of over 1 billion niggas on the floor, and you over here talking about some goddamn. I don't know about your pie in the sky ending. Nigga ain't gonna be no sky for your ass. I'll send you straight to hell. Corny ass line. Boy.
No, so like I always wanted to say that All for One is really like the guy. He's the fan. He's the comic fan, like you said, toxic comic fan. Who is not dumb. The guy that studies to understand the world, but still he has this fantasy about these comics. He act like a because he always was fan of them. So he molded his idea of himself to them. So you see sometimes how smart that he is, how cultured that he is, how understandful that he is in his ways, in his actions, but the way that he talks, the way sometimes that he chooses which actions to do, is because he's molded himself by this way of become this cartoon villain, like I think he said, and you see that every time in the story. Why did he send assassins? You can say because he wants to be the villain that gets to be the last one to be defeated, he said he called himself the ultimate boss. That's the thing. He calls himself the devil, the what's the call in Japanese, like JRPGs, the last boss, the Demon Emperor, you know what I mean? That last one, after as your hero, you beat all the demons in your path and everything. You see that guy. He wants to be that guy. Every time he talks about him being that guy. And Shigaraki is more the guy, like, I just want to do what I want to do. Let me destroy niggas. Let me put some people in the dust, some building in the dust. That's what I really loved about that fact, is that when he told Deku, the next time that I see you, it's because I want to kill you. Every time
peak fiction. Yo, I love that. Shigaraki killed it, bro. Listen, if you want to be a final villain, that's the type of shit you need to be saying to the protagonist. Yo, the next time I see you will be when I have decided to kill you. Like, what?
Every time he went for the quirk, You know what? Every time he went for the quirk, that's what he went for the quirk because of All for One. You know what I mean? That's the thing about it, is that I don't know if Shigaraki himself would say that he needs One for All, if he's in full control. That's the thing I want to ask to you guys. Do you think that Shigaraki as a character, even that he has All for One, that he will think the Shigaraki that we knew all in the story, that he will need One for All as a quirk? Do you think that? Yes or no?
Kind of not understanding what you're saying.
So
No. Basically what he's saying is that, do you think if Shigaraki was in his own mind that he would still seek out One for All specifically? Like
he would,
No.
he would more so try to get rid of it because it's a nuisance, and he wouldn't leave it alive. But his drive to be like, oh, I gotta have it. That's definitely all coming from.
Okay, so this kind of goes back to something that I think Ponzo and I especially have talked about a bit, which is that All for One is an extremely obsessed older brother.
yes.
And because, like, when you think about it, the first thing we hear out of All for One's mouth is not One for All will be mine. It is you, little brother, will be mine.
Like Oni-chan.
I'm trying to get your soul inside me, brother. Like, not
you can live forever, brother.
Like he's trying to get his brother to him.
So you have also the talk in the end, like the little brother said to your brother, it started with us, let's end this right now. You know what I mean? But yeah.
So, like, from that perspective, it's like Shigaraki, if he was in full control, he wouldn't care about One for All. He would just be like, I should kill that dude. He can hurt me. And he would just go about his day after that. He wouldn't care about getting that or not, because he'd be like, any other power I can just take. I'm the ultimate life form. I don't need One for All to win. He doesn't. Like, think about it. Like, Shigaraki's body went into anaphylactic shock because of New Order having a specific command on it. Shigaraki in control, it is far more likely to have just absconded, left the country, went and tracked down some powerful quirks, some other top tier heroes around the world, stolen those, and then came back and killed Deku if he was that worried about One for All.
Facts.
Because he would have said, well, I just need to grind up some XP before I take on the final boss.
Yes.
That would have been Shigaraki's approach. But All for One has a one-track mind. One for all. I need One for All. So he's been trying, like, even though there are dozens upon dozens of quirks, he could have been breaking into fucking people's houses and orphanages and stealing quirks from babies. That's what I would have been doing in his position if I was trying to be the ultimate demon lord. I would have been robbing babies. Yeah, that's right.
Nah. Don't do him like that. Don't do him like that. You know him.
Stealing candy from the baby.
Heavy. Ujiko was in charge of them daycares and shit.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you would have sent your kid to daycare with horns, and he would have came back without them, and you would have been confused. That would have been it. I would have been robbing all your kids. And the reason for that is because they all would have had better quirks. That's what I would have been doing at Shigaraki. I would have been quietly vanished away and then been robbing children left and right all over the world. Not focused on All for One or One for All. Why? Because at most, you can chase me around the world as I rob these kids. I would have been vanished in China.
You'll never find me, nigga.
Robbing babies. There's like 1 billion motherfuckers in there. I'd have been robbing hella babies.
I would have been in Africa robbing kids from the tribes and shit.
The first quirk appeared in China.
If Shigaraki was in control, there wouldn't be a Japan anymore, because that decay would have went crazy.
He would have just called everybody back.
He would have destroyed listen. Now that decay has no drawbacks, he would have just destroyed, like, he would have been going around to every major city just decaying it.
Like, you have, and go back to PLW. You see, like, the way Shigaraki moves toward One for All instinctually. Already, All for One is sort of influencing him, and he doesn't really realize it.
None of us realized it at that point. We didn't, because at that point we didn't know what the fuck that was. Like, nobody knew. Nobody could have 100% said, oh, that's obviously the vestige from All for One inside of Shigaraki's head.
Nah. It's gonna be way more clear in the anime. I already heard from the trailer, because in the trailer he had like All for One's Viego 1 for Oru. Like that one time when he woke up and grabbed his head.
See there before, but the way it looked like it was like he got something in his ear or something. Like what's going on? Like, and it was like real brief, and he like it was like kind of ignored it. It was like okay, maybe it's just like communication or some shit. And then like after that, he was already on the move 2 seconds later, like 3 panels later, like boom, they would have quirked. You know what I'm saying? What part
wait,
of
yo, did we celebrate like officially that the time travel theory is dead?
Yeah, I was celebrating.
I mentioned it. I was like, we finally got hard confirmation, no questions asked. This is
It's
it.
dead. And on top of that, now we know why Bakugo reminded him of the second user because he was moving mad fast.
Yeah, and because he upped his gear. Like it was like he kicked it into a whole other gear.
Like it was very similar. Thank God. So I'm gonna drink later today. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna toast up in church, pour bottles out of VC. You know what I'm saying? That shit is dead and gone. Thank God.
Bakugo, yo,
yeah, go to the grave. That shit is over with. Thank fucking God.
Yo. And any listen, the thing about like the second quirk, it could have been a laser blast too, honestly. Because if it was a laser blast, how many laser blasts do we see in My Hero? That still would have been something like out of the realm of the series, I feel like.
I mean,
but
the only laser blast we've actually seen has been off some jets and Ayamas. So
and,
it's like
and the plasma cannon. That's only 3. That don't.
Oh yeah, and that took a bunch of stuff to happen.
And honestly, the jets don't even count because those ain't even quirks. Those are fucking jets. They should have. You should. It is 200 years in the damn future. Y'all should have lasers.
Yo, but you know what's crazy? Deku can still shoot a laser blast because the second had those gauntlets for a reason. He can speed up other things. He can shoot a railgun. Like, if he speeds up projectiles in overdrive,
good point.
Pressure. Because he had to have had those gauntlets for a reason. You know what I'm saying?
Where we both know that the second was killing people. It's not a question about Chekhov.
Listen, he was speeding up projectiles and putting them shits in people's dome.
There is no reason not to believe that Deku could pull a certain magical index and shoot like coins at like Mach 2.
You mean a certain scientific railgun? That's what.
That's the name of it. Oh, I haven't watched it.
That's what Misaka is. That's
I think you meet the character in that series, but you know,
that's one of those things that got like fucking 10 different novels and the animes and that's one of those rabbit hole series. That's all I say. That's what it is.
Okay, I want to shift gears a little bit, but
you got jokes
so we're talking about Alpha One and Shigaraki and who's in charge. You look at the form itself, all the hands on him. It looks like it is defensive, but it looks like he's just trying to keep him under control. Like he's about to break free of Rampage. Like that's what it looks like to me. Like more and more hands are growing because like he just has to keep him under control right at this critical moment.
Oh, that's crazy. The hands all over the body is exactly like that one shot of Tenko in the Vestige World with the hands all over him.
Yeah, exactly. Page 4.
So let me piggyback off what Volk just said. In that regard, the symbolism really is going stupid because the moment Shigaraki was at his 2 moments that Shigaraki was true at his clearest was after NVA. He had no hands and he was completely liberated. And after he had decayed that last hand on off and talking off, I was like, yo, I don't need you, nigga. I control myself type beat. And when he broke that chain again, when he relinquished himself of all those hands again and again and again and again, even last time, again and again and again, he relinquished himself of those hands. And it's so funny because All For One was using the hands to control him. So when he really truly reaches his optimal form, I think we got a speed form next. That's how they match again. And Deku take some blows the next time in the counter art.
Oh,
then I think then when Deku get the edge again. But when those quirks come back and he hits the true final form, that's when he'll be like truly free of all the hands. I feel like he'll be like free, like have his cape on, like it'll be like majestic, proper, like beautiful.
You know what else people have been speculating about is Spinner might be the one who helps free him. Because remember, Spinner trying to help him, thinking, oh, he needs to get angry again to fight his enemies off. That unwittingly lets All For One take full control.
I've been saying that for the longest because people keep forgetting that like that nigga has friends too. Like people always keep harping on, oh, they got allies. Like you do realize people are coming for Shigaraki. Like they're aiming to get Kurogiri so they can go get Shigaraki. And Spinner them definitely getting it. They either get a Maki or Kurogiri. They're not losing on both ends. I got the win on both ends, but they're not losing on both ends.
Even All For One is pulling up. All For One is like, yo, I gotta go get Shigaraki. Like,
and thank you for reminding me, because somebody in the other said they don't think All For One can take out the Jets. You really bugging.
Yo, y'all must be high. Y'all
they never wait, time out. They talking about All For One not able to take out the Jets.
Yeah, I seen that earlier. I seen that earlier in the chat, and I was gonna touch on it, but we having a conversation about something else, and I couldn't rein it back in the MHA because we were too deep into something else. But I called specifically somebody in there was talking. We didn't see him like move in the sky, stuff like that, or he ain't, and somebody said he ain't got no quirks no more, and they say he can't take on Jets. I'm like, bro. First of all,
he took somebody's quirk. What are you talking about? He don't got no quirks.
Bro, All For One, we lucky he didn't steal Hawk's quirk.
He's doing them Jets filthy.
Bro.
And now those Jets are confirmed outside protection too. So somebody's doing them filthy.
Honestly, it's a lot of niggas coming. Like they don't realize. See, everybody distracted. We got this fatigue here that a lot of people forgot. Skeptic pulling shit at UA. Skeptic knows where everybody at. He's an unlocation to everybody. Last time I checked, unless La Bravo come back anytime soon, them niggas ain't got no fucking way to find out where he at or even stop any of his offensives in technological wise. Like shit don't look good anywhere else besides Deku putting up here, and yet it still don't even look that good because it's all just fucking it's all just fucking a facade because once again doesn't even have his quirks. It's literally a facade. It's a work right now. Like how wrestling they do like a work, you know, they get you fooled in, they get you roped in. It's just a work right now. That's all that is. Like there are pieces coming later on that's already been set up. That it's just kind of this is why another thing that really drains the fatigue of this battlefield because it's like, bro, it's obvious as day where we're gonna get to. I understand, like sometimes I understand you gotta like set some shit up, but it's just like, all right, bro, we know where this is going. Like, you're not fooling us. Ain't nobody gonna be like, oh my gosh. Nobody was able to stop Prime All For One from pulling up. Oh, I couldn't have possibly seen this coming. What?
Suspension of disbelief just ain't in the favor of that.
Like,
because like if Endeavor was still healthy, you could maybe argue that him going all out would do something. Just because at the end of the day, fire is fire. And Hori has always respected the danger of fire in the series. If you get hit with a fire attack in this series, you either have a fire quirk yourself, so you can have a reason to survive it, or you have heightened regeneration like Shigaraki did during PLW. But otherwise, you don't get hit with fire like that.
Or you get in a scar out of nowhere like Deku. People forget that Deku had like that big ass burn on Deku's arm is from Dabi, from the camp arc. Like he burnt his arm bad.
Yeah. Like through the braces that he had on it.
I've told friends that before, and they're like, "Oh, I didn't realize that," because like it's such a small detail, really. But
Dabi did him bad.
The Hawks will never recover from what the fuck happened, bro.
His wing, like multiple feathers, wings, and stuff, were completely cremated. It goes back to what Endeavor said in that filler scene when he fought the Noble and cooked its brain. He was like, you can't regenerate from carbonized cells. What's good? And cook that dude's brain. And like, is that technically a filler scene? Sure, but we know Endeavor showed up and handled that fight. So it's no reason to, like, the only thing that really you can worry about is that he gave Endeavor blue fire in that scene.
At this point, it's just anime canon.
Endeavor should have blue fire. Honestly,
if
that was one of his ultimate moves, I'll be fine with that. Like this blue fire.
Although Shigaraki, like being able to tank a nuke, kind of tells me that, like, I guess his body just can't be carbonized or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I said, Deku gonna have to pull a dragon fist and just punch through this nigga entire stomach. Ain't no imprisonment for that nigga, bro. Like that nigga gotta go to the grave. Ain't no imprisonment, bro. That nigga gotta go to the grave.
He needs to spin and be the drill that pierces the heavens and eradicate that.
Oh God, we'll fight the power ass nigga.
Listen, the one thing I will say about this battlefield that's better than it was before I was tired of all the hands everywhere. I'm
Bro,
tired.
oh my
I'm
god.
tired. I'm glad he condensed it down. You know, like
You think you tired of the hands? You know who's really tired of all them hands?
motherfucking assistants.
Exactly. Them assistants tired of them damn hands.
After week 3, I would have told that nigga step outside, and I would have fought that nigga.
Step outside.
I was like, hey, bro, go ahead and take off your shirt, step outside.
And
Horikoshi play with your ass.
And Horikoshi says that Shigaraki was the character that made him cry, and that was like back in his default outfit with all the hands. And he busts out like this new form, and it's like fingers and hands, and they're locking, and super
fingers that are sprouting hands that are sprouting hands. Like
but guys,
you're doing this to yourself. You're doing this to yourself. Come on.
No, guys, it is a show of love. But for himself, because literally, every time, because you have to accept that he's thinking it is the end of the series. So every time when he goes like this, it is like remembering him. Back in the day, I couldn't do it, but now he's having his fun with this.
He
learns to love it.
No,
5-minute limit.
No, I'm not letting that slide because nigga, we were getting. I had to keep defending this nigga for these small ass chapters because guess what? His ass want to be all holy goalie detailed and draw one flaccid giant dick hand and draw fucking 50 little individual fingers on that bitch, and then other eyes and ears and little nods, and put details and put hair follicles inside the ear and little fingernails on top of the fucking finger 235. No, I'm not hearing that shit. The nigga did it to his goddamn self over here drawing this big flaccid dick flying around and then even strong enough to kill
Okay. Let's not invite the sex bots. Let's not invite the sex bots.
To this day, my favorite thing, like detail about how he creates these fulfilling issues, is how he was like, I had Deku destroy Spinner's sword during the camp arc because my assistant was basically having to draw it.
Hey man.
And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. If I was your assistant too, I would have been upset to draw like that many blades.
Like I said,
you want to know his pain though? He like what the first time he drew Stain's scarf in like color, he had like all these extra little texture details, like really minute. When it was in color, you couldn't see any of it. You couldn't tell. Like he spent hours doing that, and it just amounted to nothing. It was like
it's part of the process, guys. It's part of the process.
Yeah.
He gave Spinner his sword back for this arc. He was like, I'm spinning the block on y'all. Y'all gonna draw that damn sword.
Like I said, so nigga. Nah, so I'm not hearing no excuses because we were getting them short. I was like, all right, bro, you are literally doing this to yourself with your health and tiring yourself out. I'm not trying to hear it. You don't want to give a 15-page chapter because you want to draw all this ugly ass hand shit for unnecessarily for like over down there 20, like over almost 20 chapters.
Let him have his fun.
Joseph Shola asking a really important question. Which do you think the assistants hated more? The joint training pipes or the fingers in this battle?
I promise you, it gotta be the fucking fingers in this battle.
Nah, I'm not gonna hold you. I think it was the pipes because those chapters were really short as well. We had like 11 pages during JT.
I mean, that came down to Hori's health too. I would say this was probably the biggest.
He was moving. He was moving during that time.
He was moving during that time too.
And if you seen how, I know everybody here probably seen that video from like 2014, 15. That nigga got a lot of shit, bro. I remember I was moving out my house. I barely had shit, and I ain't feel like moving, and I don't feel like moving again. That nigga had too much shit. I ain't never seen somebody with a collection like that. I'm like, oh, you bugging, bro.
Mm-hmm.
The fingers in the pipe. Yeah, he don't get to slide on Ponzu. He be doing that to himself. Self-inflicted. Yeah, be hurting you. He want to go.
I can tell you something.
And burn yourself out.
I can tell you something about artists in general. Is like when they like to when they have an idea in their head, if they have to suffer to do it, I can tell you that working with an artist for so much for a long time for my series that I was working on, this guy is amazing to see how the dedication about a drawing. They can stay for 10 hours on a share. It's not good at all for nobody to do that. But the fact that they're so concentrated, just drawing, just they have pain on their backs, their hand, and everything, just because they want to finish that drawing that they were and that they envisioned, is just knowing that, being there sometimes with them, because every time you're trying there as a writer to say, chill out, brother, chill out. You don't have to do so much. Take your time, have fun. It's a fun. You don't have to torture yourself. But they for them, they get more fun. The fun that they have while creating it is more important than the suffering that they get. It's really weird. It's really weird. It's really weird to see that. So knowing that, having that experience, when we talk about LA, you say that he does this to himself. It's true. It's true that he does that for himself. But then I know how they function, and from what I hear from Horikoshi, his interviews, this guy, he's not afraid to talk about his weak points. Saying that he really hated, he was crying while drawing the hands. But the fact that now that he can draw this so well, seeing himself growing like that, I can understand why. I can understand why he goes like on rampage with the Shingaraki's design with all the hands and everything. Because back in the day when he started the series from his side, he thought he couldn't do it, but now he just goes off, and we can say it is ugly, but it is the point. It is beautifully ugly what he's drawing right now, Horikoshi. And hey, knowing, like I said, it's the fact that I saw these people how the artists are, how they can suffer just to for a drawing. No, not really a panel or page different. No, a drawing. How much time they can put in and how much time they can be endure the sufferance, the suffering just to realize that. It's kind of creepy to see that in front of your eyes. So yeah, just wanted to add this. But yeah,
So
Mhm.
super chat. The editor's about to look at hands IRL and get a panic attack.
I mean,
yeah, you're walking down the street. Everybody has hands. Humans have hands.
Can you
Hands
imagine?
everywhere.
His girl touch him. His girl come from behind, touch him. Babe, so start screaming and shit.
Nightmares of being bound in hands like Shigaraki. Let me out! Let me out! I don't want to draw any more hands.
the editors are gonna learn how to draw in mittens just so they don't have to see their own hands.
And he has even given face to his fingers, man.
Hands
Look
do
at
not
him.
exist. I
Listen.
hold my pen with the power of my mind.
Listen, man, you ever go to Japan and you meet a nigga who only wears shades and fucking black gloves all the time? You'll understand why. Like, yeah, man, I used to be somebody's assistant. Like, I know who, nigga.
Yeah, I just gotta say, yo, listen, super light spoilers for JJK. I just gotta say, not seeing a nigga for
wait, because they gonna know. They gonna know exactly.
I ain't gonna say
I know what
crazy.
you gonna say. They gonna know because somebody also said that shit. Somebody
in the chat.
somebody blatantly spoiled that shit in chat.
Listen. Not seeing a nigga for 300 days and then seeing him in a bathrobe drinking wine is peak fiction.
Man,
That's all I'm gonna say.
I'm glad JJK is back to being interesting again.
It's back to being good.
Oh,
we're back
wow,
to real. No, it's real Sorcerer Hours. We got my boy Megumi on screen. That's what matters.
You're right.
Yeah.
Well, I hope y'all read the chapter.
Oh,
Sorry, you did.
Seeing a nigga in a bathrobe drinking wine after he was not in his own manga is crazy.
Hope y'all
Like
read
I
the
said, real Sorcerer Hours. The
And
murderer's back.
As soon as we come back to my boy, it's just more pain, you know?
why hasn't Horikoshi given Toru a similar adapted costume like Mirio? Because that's Shonen Jump. That's just that's kind of how they do things.
So people ask that question, and the best I can come up with is that because her hair is invisible, they can't actually work with it.
Fair
Yeah.
enough.
That's
fair
true,
enough.
actually. Yeah,
I ain't
that's right.
gonna-
Because
I ain't
with
gonna
Barry,
hold
you
you.
can actually see the strands of hair, but with her, there's nothing. You're just picking up hair. You know how light hair is?
I think
So-
I think the predominant, or you saying that like is just because like it's fan service. Like I think people
Oh yeah,
this
it
is- this
definitely
is-
falls in that category. I'm just saying that based on the mechanics of the quirk,
Yeah.
they might not even be able to see it to work with it too.
it's
So
yeah, like I get why people are thrown off by it. It's like, am I like, is it something like I look forward to seeing in the series? No, but it's like you are like that's a broader problem than just Torikoshi. Like they're encouraged to draw this type of stuff because like that's what sells magazines. And here's the wild thing. He saved this design for 8 years and he does this risque color page. And it got the reaction it did because he knew it would get that reaction. That's why he did it.
Mhm.
Like it's just any publicity is good publicity, I guess. Yeah. I'm not condoning it, but that's how it is.
Like I said, my boneheaded ass mangaka be wasting fucking color pages. Bitch ain't nowhere around. She's not even a headliner on any battlefield. Why does she have a color page right now?
she's gonna come out and hit Frieza with a solar flare.
Yeah.
Have you like Kentaro Yabuki has made his entire career off fan service, so I mean,
Yeah.
this magazine is no
Yukihiro
stranger.
Mashima.
Hey, some niggas can do what they want, and others can't.
It's a matter of exposure with like Mishima and Yabuki, like their readership is predominantly male, whereas MHA is very split, is very egalitarian fan base.
Which ties into what I pointed out at the start of the stream, though, which is that if you look at the sketch Tori did for the anime, he did do fuckboy Deku. Like that's a fuckboy.
He did.
Like that was 100% a fan service sketch. It just didn't get any pushback.
Yeah, like that nigga had. I don't even.
Like
waste of color page.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to say that Toru's
that color page is not it. Because honestly, I'm gonna keep it a buck. This is Deku versus Shigaraki, and you drawing Hagakure on the color page. That's not it.
That's the big reason. That's the real reason to start.
And another thing about that too is like, alright, nigga, you want to draw a naked bitch on the front? How about you draw Nana? At least she got some type of relevance. At least she was in the chapter.
Give me the
listen. If the color page was full cow Deku and Nana, that's heat.
Or even Deku and Chekhov. Like, come on now, like.
I feel like if he does the sequel and everybody is like aged to like 20 years old or something, he can do this freely. Nobody's gonna complain.
Oh, they will. They'll claim the only reason we got to see them as pro heroes is because he wanted to do that. Instead of factoring in that he directly stated, I want to draw them as pro heroes.
I think me personally though is like that's thinking about it way too hard and looking for a reason. I like characters growing up is just that's natural though. That should be natural. You shouldn't have to.
Oh, objectively speaking,
whatever.
yes. Because we progressed like 2-3 years through the story already. Because like we met Deku basically at like the start of 9th grade. We went a whole year because he spent 10 months training before he got One for All, and we've gone another year. So we've already gone 2 years, 2+ years in the story.
Yeah.
We're just gonna go. Technically, we're at like 2 years, 3 months, I want to say. So if we go a couple years in the future for the epilogue, so we can see them be adults and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that's the natural progression.
Yeah, what month do you think it is in the story right now? May or June? It's May.
It's May.
Yeah, April was Dark Deku time. May has been Star, and then preparing everything. So, yeah, makes sense.
And you're right, because like what I do like somebody pointed out is like the reason why the discourse was so heavily centered on the color page is because there was nothing you could really spend time whining about in the actual chapter.
Well.
Like, what are you going to be mad about? Deku combined the power of his quirks. I'm mad. Like, look at him.
That's crazy. I literally just wanted to talk about that. I love Black Chain. I love that we got confirmation that he can mix and match these quirks finally.
I hope he doesn't go the cheap way and have him lose his quirk, because I know that was his original idea. He was going to pass the quirk on to Bakugo, and we saw that in Heroes Rising. But I always got the sense that was for the earlier version of Bakugo. You know, when he was like a nice guy instead of like the mean bully he is right now. I think that might be where the dissonance comes in, because right now, Bakugo getting one for all just does not make sense. It makes zero sense. Like, he went out of his way to say, "No, you're going to be the last one." Extra quirk sap your life force thing. If your body isn't tailored for it, we already sort of saw this with Deku, where he just had to accept the power of one quirk by training his body up.
Listen, that whole thing even killed Mirio too, like, because Mirio stands was really in the mud over that. Like, even if he did get quirk, he would have died. So.
It's been almost, it's gonna be 2 years this March since that twist has been revealed. I'm still gonna see Mirio should have been the MC takes.
Look, I love Mirio. He is not written to be a main character.
No.
Any nigga that shows his cheeks to the main villain can't be the MC.
Well, it's more than that though, because like people see Mirio and how perfect he is and how he has a handle on anything. It's like, well, why isn't he the main character? Because
he's perfect and has a handle on everything.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's like,
he's literally untouchable.
And that's why like I get so irritated by a lot of anime fans that like they actively ask for like the cheap way, easy way out, because they want instant gratification. Zero thought to making an interesting story. It's just, where do we get from point A to point B instantly? No, that's not how it works.
In the overhaul arc,
that's a boring story.
We directly confronted how Mirio would have to lose, and it would just be constantly targeting civilians. After a while, I would like to believe you'd get tired of seeing like every single fight, instead of attacking Mirio, I'll attack civilians so that he takes damage.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you get tired of that?
Yeah, honestly, like we saw even in this fight, he's fighting the strongest guy ever. He's still not getting touched because that's just how his power works. He just can't get touched. Like,
yeah, he's the only one not injured right now because literally can't touch him.
Yo, did y'all notice? Whenever Deku blacked out, that was last chapter when he actually cut Mirio like he did with Udoka with Black Whip, like on the face.
Yeah, I noticed that.
That, like, the reason Mirio's bleeding on his face is because Black Whip and Deku when he was raised.
Damn.
It was like a small moment, but like he cut him a little bit with Black Whip because Mirio had to like make himself tangible to grab his shoulders, to really spit to him. So if you look, like Mirio randomly just had a cut on his cheek during that interaction. That was because of Black Whip.
Cool.
Also, small detail that I really like is that we've talked about multiple times about how, like, Hori doesn't completely neglect physics. So I really like that when Shigaraki jumped, like the force that lifted him up also tilted the UA machine.
That was cool. It also hints at how UA is likely going to be falling in a matter of chapters.
Facts.
Which the one mistake that I'll say that like Deku made this chapter, even ignoring like how we feel about maybe utilizing transmission early, is not using Black Chain to throw him into the electromagnetic barrier and then following it up with that. You should have been going for a wall bounce, my boy. Ain't you played a fighting game? Because we've seen already that does impact Shigaraki's motor skills.
Nah, he did that. He did that last chapter, like with Fajin. That's why I was like, did he really have to use transmission this early? He was matching him with Fajin to me. Like, they was going blow for blow. Yo, also, did y'all peep how like Horikoshi, like he's trying to have his own like classic anime clash with the smash. Because he got like Shigaraki doing the smash now. And then him and Deku last chapter they clashed, and it was Deku smash and it was Shigaraki smash overlapping each other. I thought that was kind of cool.
And then I also like the bonus details here where we got like one, keeping the consistency of having like the heads on the faces, but two, Kotaro, it almost looks like Kotaro is looking at Nana's vestige more than Kotaro is looking at Deku.
I mean, I thought that was the case because he literally looks up at her.
And it's like they make eye contact and she's like, that's my son. What if God was?
Which why All For One is full of shit. Like, bro, listen, if All For One was really like super in control, this body could transform. It would look like him. It wouldn't look like Shigaraki.
Right. And that's what I like about Mirio. Like, I think that's like the main key to Mirio being here is that even though he's not going to defeat Shigaraki, put any real damage in on him like that, unless we get like some Fajin sharing or something like that, he is smart, or perceptive as far as like the battle goes. He's been keeping up on like what happens, and he's doing a good. He's actually kind of performing the same function as Gran Torino performed for All Might and Camino. Like, hey, keep your head cool, don't lose yourself to this. This is what's going on here. Because you remember, like Torino was like, hey, his loadout has changed. He's doing this. You let him get inside your head. Don't rage. We're getting like, and that's why I'm like, Mirio isn't a direct mentor to Deku, but he still kind of functions as one.
He's the senpai. You know, he's finally fulfilling his senpai role, like
correctly, for sure.
The upperclassman, for real, like the older person.
He's like, look, little bro, you got higher scaling AP, so let my experience help you through this. Because he was trained by somebody who could see the future to analyze people enough to predict their behavioral patterns. So the second Tenko came out, he was like, this is an entire deviation from what we've been getting this whole round. What he's talking about, how he's talking, because of the way Japanese is structured, I'm sure the pronouns change too. Like,
he caught on to that. You know what I'm saying? He brought it up this chapter. He was like, nah, like, you're capping.
Like, yeah, immediately called All For One's bluff. Which is why, like, my boy might be on the pack list. But that's okay.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie to you. I think Mirio really is on the pack list because the way that Shigaraki is looking at him or has been looking at him ever since last chapter when he came to coach Deku, he was like, you again? Like,
dog is sitting here, just what me good at his head. Listen with my plans.
And then this chapter he exposed him like, nah, bro, you turned into a 5-year-old for like 2 seconds. Stop lying.
Like, Mario dead ass walker, fraud alert. Like,
about that. That's the one thing about it, right? I'm like, you go.
Oh, he turned into a robot.
Yep.
Satoru.
Oh.
Lost.
So, oh God, I love this chapter. It's just like it is pure hype. It is pure.
Oh yes.
It's pure action. It's just so good. And I have a bone to pick with people who say MHA fights suck. Oh, come on. You can't say that.
So this is one of my favorite things about MHA fights. And it's that the choreography seemed lackluster during fights like Shoto versus Deku, for example. And then you basically get a hard confirmation throughout a good chunk of the series that Shoto has garbage hand-to-hand combat. Like, when he's fighting Tetsu, and so it's like they just like him and Deku have the same strategy: drop big attack, drop big attack, drop big attack.
Yeah,
like it and that kind of is one of the things that highlighted their similarities and allowed Deku to reach out to them because ultimately they were both just like big attack, go.
Yeah,
and Deku was like breaking his fingers and Shoto slowly freezing himself to death, and it's like, what's going on here? And then like you look at Shoto versus Bakugo, and you look at Shoto versus Ida, and on the technical level, Ida did outmatch Shoto. It's purely the only thing that let Shoto win that fight is that Ida had to stay in physical contact with him. And if Ida had like kicked him into the air and gone for like a juggle maneuver instead, Shoto's getting kicked out of the ring right there. Boom.
Yo, that fight is slept on low key. Like it was really fast. Like people be hating on the tournament arc for real, talking about fights like that. Like it was good fit, nigga.
Because Ida is the better fighter, but Shoto has the more better damage output. Yeah, exactly. He has the most powerful quirk out of the two. So of course, if you're trying to get up and close with a person who can legit just throw out attacks or on par with Endeavor, then of course you're gonna get bodies. Of course you're gonna get fucked.
So when you look at like how Bakugo fought him, he pulled up and then was like slide to the right, grabbed him by the head and threw his ass and was like, "Get serious, bro.
So that,
you gotta be better than this."
That's the thing about having a good, or that's the thing about having quirks, right? It's like you can have a good quirk, but what when you run into another nigga with a good quirk and hands?
Yep.
Like how far? That's why Endeavor wasn't like, "Ooh, I'm gonna spam fire." I got the most off rip. I got the most OP top 5, like top 3 quirks you could just have in existence because fire literally trumps most shit, right? He's like, nah, nigga, I'm finna get nasty with it. I'm finna get nasty saucy with it. That's why he learned all the shit he learned. That's why now Shoto got some more hands because he started, I got the twin blades in the bitch. Like he started getting real saucy with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, there you go. Because before he's just a spam merchant. Like you got to get
look at the way like Bakugo was dog walking Deku in the first fight. And like, yeah, obviously a 100% smash just ends it and he turns. But like, again, that was another case of Bakugo being technically like superior in technique to the person he was fighting.
Mm-hmm.
So he dog walks him until he, exploits the exercise. And it's good that they emphasize that. You remember, like Ida got the MVP because it was like Bakugo messed up teamwork. Uraraka ended up laughing because of how dedicated to the role Ida was. And Deku and her strategy ultimately was just centered around exploiting the fact that it was a dummy bomb instead of treating it like a real bomb. Then you look at Deku versus Kachan 2, and if you look at the choreography of that fight, it's significantly better. And you could argue that like All Might fights weren't as choreographed, but a lot of All Might fights are kind of like structured around like Western comic homage, big moves and stuff like that. But like Deku versus Kachan 2 kind of showed you, he could get in his bag. And you had stuff like the Deku versus Overhaul fight, where after a couple months of practicing, he had like actual variety to his moves. They were coming out a little better. You had the Manchester Smash, which the anime actually messed up, but we're not going to talk about that because it's supposed to be ping ping and like a flip kick, which Jump Force got right. But whatever, because now at this point, Manchester Smash just means a smash kick coming down from the top. But either way, so you have that going for it or whatever. And then you get to stuff like Endeavor versus Nomu, for example. And it's like, wow, the fight choreography really went up. And then you get to joint training again, you thinking like, oh, the fight choreography went down. And it's like, no, the fight choreography that Horikoshi's drawing isn't going up and down. What's happening is that the choreography of the fight is reflecting the skill and the technical hand-to-hand combat prowess of the people fighting.
Exactly.
So speaking of that, before I want to touch on something.
Yeah, there's more to the way action is framed than just a bunch of complicated hand moves. Gege does this extremely well because he's going for a very specific type of power system. Horikoshi goes for comic book style superpowers. And you pick up an FN comic, which I know most of these geniuses do not, you will see it's very similar because he's modeling it after that specifically. Because it's always powers first that sort of guide the heroes along, and then they'll follow up with attacks. Unless it's like Daredevil or something where like he mostly has ESP and he's like a street level hero. But again, different universe. MHA is very clear. You need a superpower to
bang with anybody.
Actually,
and
say your stuff, and then I'm gonna bring up. I want Fish to get a little bit in here because he joined a little later.
So you said Shoto has ice webs that'd be dope. He already started getting his pale ice blades. That was his first step up from there when he used against Davi, which was fucking pretty dope. Once again, I was like I said, I'm proud of that boy for finally doing some actual work instead of just I can spam fire, I can spam ice, I can spam fire. Let me just combine the two. A little airwave, huh? I'm like, nah, he started getting nice with it, which I'm proud of. But what I was going to say was back off Anarchy. That's why I can't wait to fucking see the Kunita, Ayama, and Fat Gun fight. I'm trying to see how that's gonna fucking go. Like, for real, for real. I cannot wait. Like, I don't think people really sleep. Nobody's as gassed for that fucking battlefield as I am. But I'm really trying to see, like, yo, how is this really finna like come together? Like, Fat Gun, physical ass nigga. Ayama, like, mid to long range. But Kunita don't even know his quirk is, but obviously he's killing and impelling niggas, and blood lilies mean death. Like, I'm really gassed about that field. Like, niggas not gassed like I am, but they gonna see the truth later on. I don't know why they sleeping.
But so for me, it's like the thing about no people having hands in My Hero Academia in the certain point of the story characters is that the anime give also a bad reflection about this, because in the opening of the second season, what we see is literally Shoto training physically, like doing karate stuff in the opening. So you get illusions that this guy, and when this guy has training, like a physical training, because when you see his father, you're thinking to yourself, he should have a training like physically, But in the manga, we don't see anything about that. We never seen him using his quirk in a physically, like with his body, like using his body while using his quirk, if you understand what I mean, like use it effectively, because it was something that I couldn't understand why, if he has that training, but he couldn't use like his his body effectively with his quirk. When we saw Endeavor, this man used his quirk not only to do big shots, but he used it in the most effective way, because he has to, with his body burning up. He has to use it in the most effective way, the most effective. So he uses his body to his physical power too. It is something that I always thought that Shoto would go to LA, that would have go to. Till today, what we see is just that he's a blaster. Like, he's just like somebody who blasts people with ice and fire. Sometimes he combined both. But yeah, it is like, when you see that the example that he has as a father, and around the people that he is around, I'm quite sad to see that. But yeah, uh, the physical aspect, I can understand people looking for that, but we get people for this in My Hero Academia. We get Bakugo, who always shown this since the beginning of the story, that he has trained his body to be physically capable to do different type of stuff. Even his fighting style, the way that he fights, is to use his hands to explode on people's faces. And yeah, it's cool, because most of the people that should be using martial arts as coping, as base to their style, should be more to use their body quirk more efficiently. Most of the time they don't use it. I don't understand why, but yeah, it is something that's always been weird to me, that some heroes should be training physically and try to use their body the best way, to use the quirk the best way. I don't know what is for y'all. Mediator, for me, always what the guy should have been training to use his quirk the most effective way. We never saw from him, but he's like a guy character. Some there are things that I'm thinking that Horikoshi might be have done better, but like, some quirks are just too powerful to train for it. Shigaraki's one, he was trained by Alpha One. He had already a lot of. He was already really strong when he started the first time. When you think about it, the speed that he had was a speed. It was not. He was really fast even. Uh, so yeah. Uh, and he just has to touch you with his finger. So doesn't it's a one shot killer. So yeah. what you're thinking about this, but do you think some people could have been better if they had like a martial art training or like physical training with their own quirk in the class of Izuku? What do you think?
I had to take a phone call, so I missed part of that.
I would agree with you, Manzu. I do think a lot of these heroes would benefit a lot from having martial arts training. I don't think all of them would, especially because if you're combining both martial arts and your quirk, some just don't work. But like if you are like coming across a villain, of course, like having some training would help you out a lot. I would have loved to see Shoto get a lot of martial arts training, like you said, Deku too, although he does have some under his belt. I would love to see Uraraka train with a lot of the Class 1A characters. We already have Ojiro.
Man, this cycles into one of the things that I've wondered about a lot of series that have squads. And like one of the biggest offenders of this is One Piece.
Oh.
Because if I am the Monster Trio and I'm coming back from the time skip, I'm looking at all my boys and being like, who got hockey? And if you ain't got it, you gonna learn today. Like
that's facts.
You're right.
Because like, why are y'all not coaching these folks on hockey? Especially somebody like Robin. So like we have
Robin
like,
with hockey would be busted.
Like, bro. Oh, you want to be a Logia? Cool. I got armament hockey on these limbs that just popped up on your neck. Bye.
Bye.
Wait, y'all. I'm about to head out. I gotta go somewhere.
All right, Tarnish. You want to get your final thoughts before you dip?
Yeah. That's why I was like, let me do some quick final thoughts. So basically, good chapter on its own. The combat is spectacle. I love watching people fight for real in My Hero. When people really box, and that's like the point of the chapter for them to box. They really box. All for one capping on Shigaraki being gone. We already know that. You listen. If you are morphing your body to suit another nigga's trauma, that nigga is not gone. Like, you have a whole fist made out of his family members. That man is in your psyche. Now, the only thing that about the chapter that kind of rubs me the wrong way is Deku's like appearance. Like, is this 100% full cowling? Like, can he just do that now? Or is it like he's like making it look like that? I don't know. I would like some updates on that. Like, what is he really doing with his power? But does it even matter anymore, like what percentage he's at? Because he got Fajin and transmission, which I think makes the 120%. It's not, for now, I don't think it's him being at 100% full cowling. I think he's dead ass is using Fajin and transmission to hit that 120. Because the second even says, as Izuku Midoriya would put it, before he even says that. But I don't know. But listen, I think next chapter, if we stay at this battlefield, we're gonna get the speed for him. Because I think Shigaraki is gonna be like, all right, nah, like I'm just a big ass target and I'm getting boxed up. So I need to evolve some more. Maybe we'll get like another. Maybe we'll get like one more Uno reverse card before we cut away, if he even wants to cut away at this point. Because we've been here for a little minute. Like, been here for a minute.
Oh man, I think he's gonna. Look, the way All for One works, like vestiges and whatnot, I don't think you're gonna get rid of All for One until the end of the series. But I could see him taking a back seat, like in it's Shigaraki on top again, which is kind of what I've always wanted. Like, All for One is where this all starts, so you have to. I think you have to carry him through to the end. But I think Shigaraki taking full control back, or at least majority of it, I've been really hoping for that. If it doesn't happen,
I think it's coming soon because Tenko popped out his stomach like on some. Yeah, you're not about to.
You see it in the panels. You see it in the panels. He's saying like, "Oh, well, I have Shigaraki under control." It's like there's no more Shigaraki. Nobody under that name. Only All for One. And what do you see in the panels where he's saying that, like the text bubbles overlaying it? He's trying so hard to keep him under control. Like you see him, he's actively struggling.
He can't. Like he's trying, but he can't get rid of Shigaraki. Like he said, they are merging. It's not like somebody's taking control. They are merging. Like it is what it is. Like he should have never put himself in this predicament, to be honest. But that's all I got. I'm gonna see y'all next week for sure. We don't got no break.
It's a Monday chapter.
Yeah. So the reason why I ain't been on the last few streams is because I've been busy. I've been tired. Even this morning, like I woke up, I didn't really feel all that good, but I was like, nah, I gotta pop in and talk to my guys. I feel a lot better now after talking to y'all.
Double issue next week?
I don't know for sure.
Okay.
I just know it's a Monday chat.
If it's a Monday chapter, we're gonna get like a late stream, right?
Yeah. Because now that I work first shift, we can just do 6, 7 p.m. streams, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on whether or not I'm working from home, I'll let you guys know what to expect. So
okay. So
guys, hold up, because I said I wanted Fish to get to say his piece, and we kind of went past that.
Absolutely.
So we're gonna get Fish in here saying his piece.
What's going on?
Hey, Fish.
How are you thinking about this chapter?
Honestly, there was a couple things that confused me. So for one, it was, what is Deku doing to this man? I guess he's like slowing him down and altering his speed. And so that made me.
Okay.
Do you want an answer real quick?
Yeah, I actually do want to, because I didn't get to see the beginning of your breakdown. I just literally just woke up.
Okay, so real quick, how familiar are you with Flash comics? Or like the Flash Speed Force stuff in general?
Yeah, I've seen some like the, what is it, the Flashpoint Paradox. I love that movie. That's mostly what I've seen. And like Flash from the Justice League series, that's about it.
Okay, so one of the Flashes, Wally West, has the ability to steal speed. And so what it looks like in this condition is that he's effectively trading some of your, like taking some of your speed stats and giving it to himself. So that's why he's like, he's way too fast. And it's like, yeah, because he's overclocking by siphoning his speed, more or less. Like he's slowing him down and speeding himself up.
Gear shift overdrive was insane, bro.
Yeah. And like that's why you notice he does it specifically on his hand, and then he does the triple punch with that hand, because that arm specifically has been hyper sped up.
Oh, okay. So what did you think? The second user, when he had it, was he just like he was altering the speed of the projectiles in his hand, possibly, and now it's like completely different with Deku, or
it's a good chance that he was just like altering projectile speeds, and that was making it easier, and like. Because like this is him putting it directly onto his body, and more than likely the second user was just incorporating it with objects and stuff like that. Because you had the wrist gauntlet, stuff like that, and it likely would have helped him. Like he could have probably used it on his body too for temporary burst of speed. It's just that would have taken a higher toll on him, and combining it with early One for All. Let's be real, that was probably like having 5% full cowling and then being able to up it to a 20 or something like that. Which I mean, back when quirks were first coming out, is still pretty damn good, but.
Yeah, this quirk is insane now. And another thing was AFO trying to say Shigaraki was gone. I thought that was complete cap, but I'm just trying to make sure like everyone else kind of thought the same.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah, that's why Mirio straight up was like, "Nah, he lying."
Yeah, okay. I was like, that's cap.
Nah, he bullshit.
Bro, it was literally on the panel. He like, that person does coming out his fucking chest. He's still talking like that person no longer exists any longer. He's like trying to stuff this nigga back into his chest. Like, I don't know who you speak of, but this like nigga.
We just had fingers of this nigga's family. Like, what are you talking about?
All for One is basically that scene from The Simpsons where Skinner burns down his kitchen and he's high in the fact that it's burning. So he keeps telling the Chancellor, "Oh wait, no, it's all good. Nothing else is happening in there."
Yeah, that meme with the dog.
Yeah.
And then lastly, my thing was one of the craziest parts of the chapter I haven't really seen like a whole lot of people talking about yet was when Shigaraki does the jump and the UA is literally like shit, like it's tilting, and we're not that far from the water. We're not that far from the water at all. That blew my mind.
Pretty much.
Oh yeah, because they were talking about it. Shigaraki like is creating actual mass, which in of itself is actually kind of a crazy ass feat when you think about it. but doing so is causing the propulsion system to not be able to lift because it's more weight than it was anticipated. And when you're already moving an entire, basically like a college campus, you're basically got multiple city blocks floating away, and then you got some dude that's creating a bunch of force, like downward force, so that he can jump up.
Not
while
just that,
simultaneously avoiding not jumping into the cage at the top, of course. But
not just that, there's the weight of the propulsion system that's like basically doubling the weight of UA itself. And so you add Shigaraki on top of that, who's just like nobody was expecting him to just like grow hands without quirks. Like they weren't anticipating that at all. There's no way you could have expected that. But
they were supposed to be fighting like a 5'9" dude.
That's nice.
And now they fighting somebody who's like 15 feet tall. Like he went from this is a normal size dude to Luffy versus Katakuri size ratios. Like that wasn't what they had in the books.
I'm just waiting for that next that Shigaraki. If his next transformation is something in regards to speed. I mean, I've been telling him every chapter, it's not looking good for Deku. I don't care what he comes in here with. As soon as Shigaraki gets his other quirks, especially, it's gonna be bad news for Deku. But let people have false hope.
It's too straightforward. Like he's basically telling us this is not it, because like you say this guy can use every quirk imaginable, and then Deku never goes up against him at his strongest.
That's not happening.
That's not happening. Like it can't happen.
What do you guys think of the 5 minute the 5 minute like timer of the set? Like what's going on with that? He only has 5 minutes now. Is that you think Deku's body will be affected, or
you're forgetting this is shonen, right? Because like he's gonna find something. Who's there, right? Think of who's powering UA right now. You got Kaminari, you got Manga, you got Yu Yu. And I'm starting to think maybe Yu Yu has some sort of recharging quirk.
I'm looking at it like which one, Yu Yu being a good example, because like she's paired with Nijire a lot, so it might be that she helps Nijire recover when she overexpends like the life force. But this kind of, and like it's easiest to just like put this in languages and like terms that like a lot of people are already familiar with. So I kind of look at it like Dressrosa, or like how after Kaioken Goku needed a break, but like Kaioken is more comparable to like Fajin, but it's kind of like that, where if you look at it like a Gear 4 state, it's kind of like when he first pulled it out in Dressrosa, where he uses it, whoops on Doflamingo, and then everybody has to protect him because he has to recharge because he's burnt out a bunch of energy. So that's why I feel like when he's saying like it's over if you don't do this, he's like, hey, you gotta beat him down before this runs out, or else you're not gonna have the energy to fight this man. And we might not be able to do nothing to protect you, because like everybody up there is already kind of like been slumped. So it's like you got maybe Bakugo coming back, like he's in the middle of surgery and stuff. But outside of like what Bakugo and Mirio gonna try to hold this man off so Deku can recharge?
They couldn't do that shit for two seconds. They told them 2 seconds. Can you hold him for 2 seconds? Mirio had to shake his damn ass.
Literally. They lost. Like that's why I was like, bro, why do y'all want Bakugo to be just gone? Because like otherwise Deku gonna have to instantly fold Shiggy, or it won't make sense. Because like no Bakugo meant literally throwing ass to stop Shiggy. They lost one fighter, literally, and people had to twerk to stop Shiggy. Like,
literally,
complete insanity.
Also, I blame East, because Hori be watching, and you've been talking about twerking for him for 3 years now, and he was like, let me have somebody pull an East and twerk for me. So
I second that. I blame East as well.
Hey, you know what? Well, guess what? Guess what? Since you listening, guess what? Since I'm finna bop your ass aside your head, Kohei. How about you have that nigga get bopped up? That nigga Deku get bopped upside his head too. I had somebody get bopped upside their head. Go ahead, let it be Gas Mask God and Kirishima going blow for blow, and he bopped somebody upside their goddamn head. Cause that one would do to your ass when I catch you over here playing around. Yeah, solo me. He over there bussy bussing.
Bussy bussing. What really?
And as far as anybody can talk about this drawback and can play, bro, we ain't even got a quirk box. They literally did this with 5Gen last time. Niggas got over up in the hands like, oh shit, he already mastered the quirk. Nigga Deku jumped up in there. 5Gen really works like this. I didn't master it. I actually fumbled the bag. Come on now. Let the quirk box come.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why y'all keep acting like y'all don't know this shit. Like, y'all really be forgetting, huh?
Which
I'm curious, Aniki. I wanted to ask you another question. My fault.
What's up?
So, how do you see Shigaraki countering this new move that Deku's just pulled out?
I don't see him counter it. I see. That's why remember I was like, he's gonna have to like transition into a speed form, and that was before we got transmission.
Yeah, you were saying that. So okay.
Yeah, like to me, he's getting ragdolled unless he switches gears fast. Because right now he's just this big bulky thing. Like like he can generate the force to jump and try to like kind of move quickly, but like if you look at it, when he does that jump attack, Deku doesn't look worried. He just looks like think about it. All for One jumped at him, tried to apply that pressure, and Deku was basically like, anyways, you're not getting what you want.
Yeah, Deku ate that.
I love. He was like this is my favorite shonen form in a minute, maybe even more so than Gear 5 for Luffy. It's just it's so cool.
Now, so think about that. Think about that. It's like what was nice was like Shiggy wasn't falling for the same move twice. It's like, all right, you could dress the shit up however you want. I ain't going for it. But then Deku was like, he let all the debris fly in the way. He was like, you ain't gotta worry about that, nigga. I got something else for your ass.
Mm-hmm.
That shit, you get it because I'm still eating off this because I'm like, all right, good. Niggas not throwing those flaccid, flailing organs around. Big flaccid penises around. They finally throwing fisticuffs. Thank God. That's another reason why. That's another reason why people got this Battlefield got a little bit more life in it, and people not as drained anymore because it's like they wasn't even really fighting before. It was like,
and
let's be real. Giant PP touch you.
When we get to this, because like, look, if we look at how episode 1 was adapted, and we're trusting that we're gonna get a good season. Because I don't think we've heard anything about production issues. We haven't seen any animators complaining about stuff like and feeling like it's
no COVID too.
No COVID. So there's not really a reason to expect season 6 to have any fumbles. Mm-hmm. If we're looking forward to season 7, this will probably be one of the craziest sequences. Because I already like the sky, battlefield or whatever, because that's where we fight Shiggy in the air. But the fact that Deku is now moving at a speed where he's able to like stand on these broken platforms mid-air and bounce around. I love these kinds of battlefields where it's people like fighting in rubble and bouncing around and doing that kind of stuff.
What's crazy to me is that reminds me of a lot of fields. Every field is going to have a different various structure to it and the way it's played out. But I think the most interesting one to me, or the most plain one to me, but it's the most gas at the same time, is we going back to old school shit with Gas Mask God, GMG, and fucking Kirishima and Mina. Like, them niggas ain't got no be running around over here high behind. No, like, them niggas just gonna be fighting each other on fucking flat ground. Like, like dead ass is gonna be like, what was happening on the battlefield below with All For One and Endeavor and Hawks were all in the sky boxing it out. What's going on? Like, all the chaos stuff was on the floor. That's just gonna be them. Like, debris flying, extra AoE attacks just flying around. Niggas just in each other's faces. They ain't gonna be like, hide here, maneuver there. It's just gonna be like, good old fashioned fist and niggas in the street doing this shit. Beautiful. See, simplicity is beautiful sometimes, y'all. I don't need all that extra shit a lot of times. Sometimes just keeping it simple is just perfect. Just perfect. And I can't believe you've done this. No, the speed. See, it's like this. Then he gonna still have the strength he has, pretty much. Like he can really knock Deku head off with a good punch or two, or knock Deku in the next week or to the floor. So he needs the speed form in order to combat that. And the speed form is so he don't get hit like this.
Mm-hmm.
So the speed form is going to do exactly what it needs to do in its evolution, which will be him combining the speed form and then the Tenko form, and then all evolving into Shigaraki himself and with the quirk shit. Beautiful to see. But anybody getting that sync? I feel like we have really ran this course this time.
I think we covered most of what we need to. Right now, I'm kind of like going through the chapters just based off of. I'll explain it when I'm done looking at it. So.
But man, I don't know about y'all. JJK next week about to be OD. I see Gege. I see Gege back in peak formation. See, I'm one of the people that was enjoying JJK anyway still, but he about to be back in peak formation, and then Horikoshi gonna get his ass back right, start goofing around because his competition back in fucking peak formation, so he gonna start fucking pussyfooting around. We gonna get back into goddamn peak formation. I can't wait. But as per usual, Sakamoto Days is peak. Oh my god,
they sleep on Sakamoto. I heard JJ back to greatness too, so I'm reacting to it.
It has been.
Yeah. This chapter, man.
But they sleeping on Sakamoto. I'm surprised you. I didn't know you was reading that, Eve.
What? I was there since day one.
Come on, baby.
I was there since the color page.
You should check the channel in the server, and all you'll see is East going off.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
Fish, are you in the server?
Yeah, I'm in the server.
Oh.
Nah, Fish
Oh, you
was
still
in there,
are? Okay, that's good.
Fish left because he said some out of pocket shit. I ain't gonna hold you.
Guys,
He said some real
quick.
nigga shit. Oh, quick.
I don't even know what I said. I'll be saying too much. I gotta chill.
But Fish, when I think he was drunk that day, he went in there talking about something. Man, y'all ain't got no holes in it, bitch. I was like, yo, Fish. I like, yo. I like, bro. I like, you good, bro? Like, this is not the place for that. And then I was like, man, this shit whack. I was like, all right, bro. I mean, this is church, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, guys.
Okay. So I'm looking.
Hold on, Ponzu think he had a go. That's what he meant.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have to quit. So I will just listening if you're still talking.
No,
thank
go ahead,
you guys.
Ponzu.
Thank you for everything, and thank you for listening. And yeah, it was the chapter on the first read just felt wrong. It was too easy to finish because when you have the narrative of it is the end of My Hero Academia, you're reading it, you're thinking, really it's gonna end it like this, but you feel as a writer it's just wrong. It won't end like this, or because she don't write like this, So I don't know. So I'm questioning myself how he will take it from where. Like you said, there is maybe a speed form. Maybe the speed form will be like she gotta keep taking control over all for 100ly. So you will have less hands, and maybe just the hands grow in front of his face, or I don't know where, or no hands at all. Because what we saw last time, the best version of himself was in against the against the Destro. He had no hands at all on himself, no hands at all. So maybe his speedfall will be him just accepting everything and leave the past behind him. So that might be interesting. But yeah, no, after the stocking, it is a good chapter. It was fun to read. Seeing Deku goes off like this. The quirk of I forgot his name. The second user was delivered. It is an interesting one. It's nothing that we had expected. So yeah, I will give it a 7 on 10. 7 on 10. I can wait to see what's happening next. And yeah, I will see you all later. Okay, thank you.
See you, Ponzu.
See you.
All right, y'all. I'm back from looking at the chapter count. So remember how we've been talking about how we got like one of two things we can do. We can stick at this battlefield, have a couple more chapters, where we kind of throw down and see what's up, or we can start hopping around. I looked at it and I was like, let's do a 3-chapter count. Just seeing if if the anime keeps the pace that it's been going, and then maybe ups to 4 chapters for the last 2 episodes of the season or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we keep on pace with the chapter adaptation rate, this chapter would be the start of episode 11 of season 7. Which means the next 5 chapters basically, or like next 5 to, 8 chapters, boom, 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 is the next, like the finish of episode 11, 12, and 13. So these next 8 chapters, we can expect a lot to happen. I'm not expecting the series to end, but I think these next 8 chapters is going to be something else. And obviously with depending on how long this arc is, we don't necessarily have to maintain that same frequency rate. This is just something to keep in the back of your mind. At the speed that which we're adapting here, we could do some around the horn stuff, or we could spend a little more time, like 2 more chapters on this fight, spend 12, 13 doing like a battle assessment, and that works as a mid-season finale. So Shigaraki's next form, whether it's speed or it's going to be like a final stage 3, whatever the case may be, we'll see what it is, because we got gear shift second matching, the second form for Shigaraki, third gear, and then top gear. So the gear shift overdrive. So we can get Shigaraki going through a similar process. And since Deku's not breaking any limbs, we have 2 options. He already has unlocked full range of One for All, or in the month since we've seen, since we had seen him and he was doing all that other stuff for Deku Dark, we're going to sit down, reassess the situation, especially because, he actually was having Black Whip active for 24 hours at a time. So and combining it with Danger Sense, which was one of the first clues that we kind of had, that he was like using like Black Whip and Danger Sense kind of instinct to reach out and understand stuff. So from that perspective, Deku, like that last arc that, people are the much maligned Deku Black arc, Deku Far From Home, Vigilante Deku, that was one long training arc. And there's no reason to assume really that his percentage is still at 45%.
Mm-hmm.
Realistically, putting in the amount of effort and grinding that he did, we can look at this as he should have access to like 60, 70%. Fajin should reliably be able to hit him to that full 100 pretty easily. So we're overclocking here. If Deku actually goes with the full 100% calendar, maybe he is using it, and that 24 hours of using it like nonstop constantly was enough to finally get his body to fully embrace the power. I wouldn't be mad at that, because at the end of the day, before he was taking classes, doing all kinds of other stuff, getting like 3-4 hours of extra training in a day and stuff like that. That was effectively like, let's see here, let's do 24 times 30, just to see what that is. Because from that perspective, that was 720 hours of training. That's more hours than I got in Monster Hunter, and that's impressive because I have almost 500 hours. I have almost 500 hours in Monster Hunter. So if he can use 100% after 2 years of training his body plus an extra 720 hours of grinding with One for All, when we put it like that, is it really unreasonable? That's not a rhetorical question. I want to know how you guys feel about that.
I agree. I would say a factor to put into it is, like Alves said, the full rest, because obviously he has been training without sleep for a whole while, which also adds into, I'm not gonna, I'm not a doctor or anything, but I assume if you train when not getting sleep, it will degrade your body. But since it's I don't want to use this as shonen as as to back up this point, but
it's a fictional series in which people have superpowers.
Yeah. So I could see there being like a chance he could go 10 or 15 percentages above 45. It is possible.
Hold on. And
I think it's feasible. Like as soon as the doctor, like I'd been suspecting it for a while, but when Deku had the checkup after PLW and the doctor said, yeah, your body's getting naturally tougher because like it has to. That's how One for All works. I think that combined with how Deku uses his different quirks and Fajin and whatnot, Black Whip, he uses Black Whip as a cast. That was part of the reason why the damage wasn't too bad after POW. The training he did at Stark Deku, like he was at that nonstop, right? Like, and so, like, yeah, I can see it. And
I
he's
personally wasn't
Infinite
expecting this.
100, right? He's using Infinite 100 right now. Like,
I was pretty shocked when he was talking about, being at 120%. But I figured, just like how Tarnish has said in his final thoughts, that this is just like his Fajin mixed with the transmission.
Yes.
He's not like actually at, with the actual 100. But either way, I mean, it works for me. Like he's so in tune with the vestiges as well. Like I just feel like, I mean, he should be at this level. How is he gonna beat Shigaraki? Without it. That's just how I'm looking at it right now too. It's just like he's so in tune with these vestiges. He's so in tune with these quirks now. He's understanding like these are tools to be used. I don't know. I just wish Deku himself would view himself as at a much higher, you know what I mean? Like value himself.
Put some respect on his own name.
Yeah, put some respect in. Look at you, nigga.
Look how far you come.
Yeah, but this is. I mean,
I
just want to see how it plays out.
It can be seen as a form of arrogance to continue thinking you're not at your best. It's like, come on, you're like you have the quirk that the big bad villain wants. Like you are insanely powerful, and like and you're busting out moves that like nobody has seen since the likes of All Might. Like I think it's time to recognize your top shit. Quit it.
Like at minimum, we need our boy to recognize himself as a true top tier hero.
Exactly.
Because like, man, very few people are gonna do it like Deku. And once he's gone, the only people who are gonna be able to do it like Deku are those babies I would have been robbing in Shigaraki's position. And his parallel processes, like you said, he's so in tune with these vestiges, his parallel processes that are on point. Like there's a reason Hori made it a point at the end of 367 to show him standing there with, the Black Whip looking like Wolverine claws, with the smoke flowing, the Fajin glowing on his left hand. Just him posted up, ready, all the quirks ready to go. We already know Danger Senses. We don't need a visual for Danger Sense. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no... He senses and like the lightning bolts and stuff, like whatever. The only thing he wasn't doing was floating in the air, and that we'll get that because like if UA starts falling and they actually shut down the barrier and stuff, then it'll just turn into Deku like flying in the air trying to grab that dude, doing what it takes. Because it's not like Shigaraki got anywhere to run anyway. Like before it was, oh, I'll just destroy this, escape, and get out. Now it's, I'll destroy this to kill the people here, cause you more emotional damage, and then we'll fight some more, and hopefully you'll become super simplistic and let me murk you. Which means the only solution he can come up with here is going to be killing the untouchable. So I guess my question is, because we talked about that like mid-season finale type beat. Do you guys think the potential mid-series finale could be Mirio getting murked?
Got my fingers crossed.
That's working left a wound in your heart.
I got my fingers crossed, but I'm like, we definitely have to switch like battlefields for sure. I just don't know where we're gonna go next, but I definitely want to see that Fat Gum fight because like I know people are sleeping on Ioma, but I really want to see that fight.
Niggas, don't nobody talk to me when we get to that battlefield. I'm in a day one supporter of that shit, and niggas not peeping when I'm peeping.
Look, I already know Kuneda is going to be raw. One, because that like Flowers and Death have such a strong incorporation like through, like manga that we know he's going to do something crazy with it. Artistically, combat wise, he's going to be in his bag. But then add in that, which I'm a big fan of All Might getting murked.
Me too.
I love the man, but I kind of want him 6 feet under,
kill that nigga. No.
With weeds growing on his grave.
My thing is, I just can't visualize a world in which All Might can see how much has gone on, especially because I think they haven't like reported hey, yo, Bakugo got injured. I feel like if that news gets to All Might, it's over. He's gonna put on
bolting out that door.
His little Iron Man costume or whatever he had in that suitcase when he stood up to the dudes who was throwing thunderbolt spears at him like it was an AOT. Because there's a reason we didn't get to see how that conflict was resolved. Because we got no reports of, oh, I had to go help All Might. Nobody said that. All Might just drove up and was like, oh, I got attacked. Woo woo. Like, think about that. Why didn't we get an answer to how he got away from people who was throwing missiles at him?
I mean, he made them shit themselves. I don't think that's something to report on. Be like, oh, I just made 2 lads over there, just completely.
I mean, I guess he King's hockeyed them into
exactly.
Pants, but like, I'm just saying that's not normally how simply we'd resolve that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So the way I look at it is that he has something in that suitcase. We know he had previously used support gear. He was looking kind of pensive when we were learning about the Air Force gloves. He was like, wow, support gear is this compact now. Woo. We know that Condenium, like all the spare Condenium at UA was utilized. And we kind of got answers towards that when we saw, Bakugo's Panzer gauntlet, like cannons on his back. We have, so like if another answer to that is All Might pulling up in an Iron Man suit. All right, there we go. There's most of the Condenium. A suit for All Might to help deal with his sickly body, and Bakugo's, shoulder cannons. I mean, if All Might just has a Glock, that's real. If he was like, in this suitcase, I got a strap, pop, pop, that's fine. It's a little not All Might like, but
I mean, it'll give Shigaraki PTSD from USJ with Snipe.
Dog. Snipe be sitting there like, man, I really could have stopped all of this if only I knew. But I think we did a good job of touching on all the stuff with the chapter. So let's kind of start going around the horn, get some final thoughts going. Let's start with Thomas.
There's 2 things to focus on that I think is the episode and the chapter. I want to focus on the episode because it's easiest to talk about. It was great. I do think it had a few flaws to it. I feel like it wasn't perfect, but I loved the majority of it. I also love the animation quality, the art style. The backgrounds are still the complete dog shit, but we'll take it. I love the voice acting, the music choice, especially because I feel like we got a few new tracks in there. I don't know if they were reused, but if they were, it's whatever. I also want to say that there wasn't. I know Shibuya Smash posted a tweet about, I believe his name is Yashihiro Oyabu, who he was a producer for season 2, 3, 4, and then for World Heroes Mission. And he said that in each episode, there's going to be a big highlight scene, which I assume, Saturdays was Mirko, which I loved. For the chapter itself, always great to see more Deku content. I love the fact that he tanked Shigaraki's smash like it was nothing. Like, he really showed up like the protagonist that he is.
Mm-hmm.
Not Mario, Deku. I loved the new quirk. It's unique. It's nothing. It's not like any other quirk that we've seen before. We have seen, speedster quirks, but this is on a whole nother level. Especially when I don't know who brought up I think it was Fish who brought up the gauntlet. Being, he shoots out projectiles, but I assume you can't really control them. You have to put them into the first gear. So using it on yourself, going from first, second, third, fourth, fifth to overdrive, that's really, really fucking cool. Aside from that, I don't have anything else to say. I like last week I said that I would love to move on, but right now I'm hooked. I want to see what happens with Shigaraki, how he deals with this when he evolves to a form that's more suitable to combat's transmission. Or is this what's the other name it had? Gear change?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know which one's the name because it got confusing, but I'll just go transmission. And aside from that, I think that's it. That's all I want to say. Also, if everyone else hasn't liked the stream, make sure to do that. Show support and love. And if you're not in the server, join. It's really great. And that's it.
Volk?
Yeah. So it was I feel like I'm gonna say a lot of redundant stuff, but very good chapter. It was a pleasant surprise what the last quirk ended up being. Suits Deku much better, and the way his style is oriented around kicking and being very fast than something like a project. Well, it is can be a projectile quirk, like Thomas indicated, because of the specific rules and how you can speed up and slow down certain things. But it being like, I was wondering if it would be like something like an energy blast or something like Bakugo's quirk. Didn't end up being that. This is much better. I love the art. I love the way the fight is laid out, and like again, he's suckering you in. He's although he's also making it very clear that this is not the end, not quite yet. There's a little more after this. So how we get there, we've been speculating. I think you can piece together enough. Really looking forward to next chapter. And yeah, I think, and the anime is off to a great start as well. I think it's nice to have both manga and anime firing on all cylinders again. I'm hoping it's smooth sailing from here on out. I'm hoping all the weirdness with like how Bakugo died and then they're trying to bring him back. I'm hoping for the most part that's finished, and I hope that we continue to go to field to field and get a good sense of how the fights are happening. So big thumbs up for me. Yeah.
All right. Fish.
I was surprised to see Deku was talking about 120%, but with the Fajin and transmission, it somewhat makes sense to me. So I'm excited to see where this goes, though. I know this is just the beginning of the fight. We have to keep in mind. I do feel like we're going to cut away very soon, which I don't mind either. But Deku's going to get the brakes beaten off of him, and I'm just excited for that. I've been rooting for Shiggy this entire time. And he's going to really let that dog come out, too. He's going to show y'all. So whether it be another transformation, which I do think is soon to be incoming as well, just get ready. And then when we go to another battlefield, either I'm most excited for the Ioma or the Toga with twice as blood. I'm just so curious to see what happens. And also Sero. I'm never going to forget Sero's face. Everyone was dick riding Shoto that one chapter because he had won, and he didn't even say anything, just dot. So I'm like, what's going on? It has to be Ghastly or something. But I mean, other than that, really, I didn't have a whole lot to say in regards to this chapter. It's interesting to see the second user's quirk. I wish we would get his name already too. So it leads me to believe we'll probably just get a flashback at some point with, him and what was it, the third user he was rolling with when they went to go save
Judon.
Yeah, Judon. Okay, yeah. So at some point we're gonna have to get them explained as well before all this, is finished. But man, I can't wait to see Deku get the paws put on him, man. That's my number one. I just can't wait to see the paws get put on Deku by Shiggy. But yeah, this is a fun stream. I'm sorry I had to get here late. I just woke up. I was working last night. But yeah, until what? The next one's a Monday stream?
Yep, Monday stream.
All right, for sure. Yeah, I'm off on Mondays as well. So I'm gonna be there.
All right. East, you already know what to do.
It's me? Tommy went? And Tarnish?
Tarnish left.
Oh, I didn't even do it.
Yeah, it was Thomas, Volt, Fish, and you.
I spoke first. Also, watch yourself for that comment, Fish. Deku's gonna have his comeback after that.
No, yeah, most definitely. I don't want to get too excited, but yeah, Deku, he's gonna get. I just want to see him get the paws put on him, but he's gonna.
I feel you.
Fish want to see him get whooped mostly because he want to see the fight. Both people get their moves off.
Yeah. So let me start off with that. Now it's fair enough and everybody should be in that same category because you can't become no greatest hero without getting at least one ass whooping. Deku has not received one actual legit ass whooping, like actual getting beat, like
outside of flick turn.
Exactly. That's the movie. We need to see this in the manga type beat, like on paper, Horikoshi drawing it. Yes, type beat, like, and yeah, everyone wants to talk about a shonen this, shonen that. Okay, nigga, where the shonen ass whooping at?
Yep.
Everybody, hey, y'all want to talk about shonen this, shonen that all damn time. Well, where the fuck the shonen MC ass whooping at? Because I call out a whole lot of other niggas that got their ass beat and still got to come back, but at least they earned that. Because a lot of times, all this fights that they got mainly prioritizing Deku inflicting all the damage onto himself, even with muscular. That's his toughest fight as far as like physicality go. He really put most of that shit on himself, all that damage he did. And then after that ass whooping Shiki got last time, oh nah, Shiki need that one back. And if you don't think so, you just hating the nigga. That's for real. He deserves to get his one back. But let me talk about chat so we can go ahead and get out of here because I ain't gonna lie, y'all was damn near falling asleep because a nigga tired. Me and Fish was out last night going crazy, bro. So don't let a nigga lie to you. Use that work, right? Putting to work and getting more kids. But anyway, stream. I know a lot of us want to like certain things or expect certain things, which is based off what we got, which is nice. But I'm glad nobody pretty much bitched too crazy about this shit. And only mainly gripes I seen was that it just feels like another power up on top of Fajin. But once again, I say he still needed like spirit gun type beat because Kong would have been 5. And plus this nigga taking nukes and you could have boosted out Fajin. But we here, it's cool. I see why he did it the way he did it. Whatever to me, shit's still cool. It's whatever. Right, if Sugar get his ones back, if you really fooled by this, I don't know what the fuck to tell you. This is like elementary school type of trickery. Like I don't know what the fuck type beat. Looks like your older sibling lying to you as you know the nigga finna set your ass. So like it's just clear as day what's finna happen. This battlefield has now got a breath of fresh air. The choreography is cool. Deku flying around, little debris. Can't wait to Shiggy get his footing and hold back and get the reins back, and then they really start going at it and clashing more. That's gonna be really cool to see. We'll be off here soon before the end of the year, though, so that's pretty cool. I'll give it, I guess, 2 chapters, hopefully. Whenever the speed form comes up, and then whether it's not, is they want to tease it like, oh, what's next here, or it goes down, whichever the case may be. So I say max 4 chapters will remain here. The best bet is 2, whichever one is whatever to me. Shit, another gas chapter as per usual. I'm hyped up, man. I can't wait to see where we go from here. You know what I'm saying? A nigga tired. Not even MHA, I'm just like tired, Gerald nigga. Nigga got shit going on. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
But let me tell these little plugs. Just need to be in Atlanta because as a fucking Atlanta native, that show is peak and it's fucking accurate as shit. I can 100% vouch for it. Hop on motherfucking Anime House 6. That shit gas. And Cobra Kai is peak shonen. That's all I got to say. Season 5 was gas. Yeah. Appreciate y'all for coming again, man. Shout out to all y'all niggas in the chat. You already know Tobu Fu, Stretch, Alves, goddamn Enda, Volk. Everybody's coming through again. So many of y'all that I love, appreciate y'all every single time. We appreciate all the Nadir, to Nafisi, everybody just coming through.
Hold on, did I miss Nafisa's message?
Nafisa sent in a.
No, my fault. Nafisa, my fault.
Oh.
I told you, I'm tired right now, y'all.
I was like, damn, I missed Nafisa. Now I feel bad.
No,
Yeah.
I'm tired.
She used to read Fire Punch with me, man. Like, can't be forgetting the Fire Punch crew. All right, y'all. We appreciate everybody that came through. You already know how we do. Next week, we're going with a Monday stream since it's Monday Jump, so it'll be a little later in the day. More than likely around 1800 Central Daylight Time. Excited. Want to have everybody there. Mm-hmm. You already know I'll be on Shonen Rodins later. Alves always pulls into that one too because he's always there for the Undead Unluck discussions. Because it's like you were the only places that I really saw doing Undead Unluck talk was over on Shonen Ronin and Project Manga, and Project Manga is ended. Unfortunately, I do believe Nox is live right now for the Page Walker. So if you want more manga Shonen Jump based content right after this, go ahead, pop over there. Because he reacts to like everything in Jump. I'm pretty sure he covers like Sakamoto Days, Witch Watch, all of it. So go ahead if you're interested in that, go ahead and peep. Drop them hail hories. You already know how we do. But I appreciate everybody that came through. All love. And this chapter is phenomenal. I'm looking forward to the rest of season 6. It's been adapted beautifully so far. I'm expecting them to keep up this pace the whole way through. Dobby's dance looking to be about episode 12-ish of the story. Even in some of the visuals from the thing are just phenomenal. The dancing flame that he did, like he's about to do the bow. For a second, I thought he also had his finger like this, like he's about to tell you a secret. Which that would have just made it completely perfect.
Man, when Dobby Dance airs and they change his hair to white in the opening.
Need that.
Coyote mentioned that, and I was like, I'm in love with that.
So, yep. And also, Alves, I don't need to peep another game. I need more games to be on the level of Monster Hunter and give me that technical prowess level up challenge that the game gives me. We keep getting title updates. You got to show love. Plus, it's an RPG. You got to grind. But eventually, I will try to get something else on the Switch. Maybe I'll finally try to play Smash or something. We'll see.